banned the Koshka. This means that she is available. Kestrel is off the board though.
Kestrel off the board, going back to our roots of these two, almost in inverted commas, OP picks here. What do Phoenix Armada come in with? The first pick, it is Koshka. They've given it over. Do TSM have a plan?
But we're going to have to find out. They do pick up Arden, they do pick up Sky, so we did see something kind of similar to this when Sirius let Koshka go over to Armada, but Mango controlled Sky in the jungle. Because Sirius was not able to offset rotations, was TSM going to fall to the same fate?
You know, it's really concerning. We're looking at this draft coming out from Armada, and they're on their comfort picks. All three of these, absolutely no surprise to see on them.
Yeah, Gwen coming through for Druid. He's been fantastic on that pick. His skedaddles have practically been instantaneous. He has been ridiculously good. We are going to see the Lance coming in from the Roam. That's basically, I would say, Phoenix Armada's best composition that we've seen this world. And TSM sure it up with a Samuel for Vonsi in the jungle. Best check NA taking Sky to the lane here, Fuji. What are you thinking based on draft?
I think based on draft, Armada certainly has a lot of comfortable heroes right now. If TSM wins this game against Armada on these picks, that is a massive momentum swing for this North American team.
Well, guys, I tell you what, we've got two fantastic casters for a fantastic final. You might know them. It's Humanist and AJ.
Thank you very much, Scoundrel. It is time for the finals of the first Vainglory World Championship. We've got two amazing teams, Team Solo Mid, Phoenix Armada. They've fought so hard for the past couple of days to get here. Guys, this is going to be a long series. It's a best of 7. Our throats are going to be hurt, and I want your throats to hurt too. Make some noise for these teams, Phoenix Armada and Team Solo Mid.
Woo! We are here, the two best teams in the world, ready to go head-to-head. And look at this. We have some tricky things out of Flash already, taking his Arden straight up into that lane.
Yeah, he actually didn't even spend any time in the jungle, just believing in Von C, being able to clear that, being able to stay safe from the aggressive pairing of the Koshka and the Lance. With the minion candy, it is forcing Druid into a bit of an uncomfortable position.
Yeah, it definitely is. And we see the nice rotation coming out of the Samuel as well. Von C starting on his mid, making the rotation back into his side of the jungle. So he gets 3/4 of his clear up against a very strong early game composition out of Phoenix. I really like it.
All right, we can see already Team Solo Mid starting to show some of that preparation. Willie missing an Impale for one of the first times we've ever seen, but Mango's coming in from the flank. Is he really going to look to go in here? No. He's just going to get some damage on the Von C and back away. Man, I can't wait for the first fight in this game.
And I feel like every time one of our casters or someone on the analyst desk is going to say that Willie does not miss an Impale, that'll be at least 2 missed Impales caused by that. But I mean, to his credit though, Willie, I do agree. He is one of the best we've seen, and it speaks volumes because if you are missing Impales, you're oftentimes losing games. But here they are in the finals. I think a lot of people predicting the Phoenix would have made it here. Questions whether Team Solo Mid was totally prepared, but they've really showed up in this tournament. I'm so excited to see how this is going to turn out. And when are these teams going to turn up the aggression? They both have a lot of tools at their disposal. That's getting some pretty good damage here.
That's actually a really good question that I want to pose to you, because the thing is, Koshka, obviously, hyper-aggressive early hero in Vainglory. Druid is on the Gwen, something which can be very aggressive early, depending on the build path that you go. But Sky can also get a lot of work done. And with something like Arden backing it up, does Team Solo Mid have the capability to fight evenly in the early game?
Well, as far as evenly, I would say it's not going to be exactly an even trade. Willie taking a little bit of damage here. It's all about who's catching who off guard. Really, I think one of the things, oftentimes people underestimate the damage output out of the Samuel. If he is in the Drifting Dark, oftentimes they're winning the fights. If he's forced out of that, if it's timed out, well, it's going to go the other way. And always, we're going to have Flash in a great position to bail Best Chuck out of a bad situation.
We're seeing something from Von C we saw from him in the semifinals, actually, when he was playing Jungle Samuel. He's itemizing a lot of early defense, has 2 light shields right now. That's Chuck. Look at Willie with those Githian walls. Keeping things close up in the lane, but returning to Von C, he's obviously itemizing very heavily into defense against Mango.
Yeah, it's beautiful. This is what I really like to see. His natural damage output is insane. We just talked about once he's in that Drifting Dark, you throw the Malice and Verdict, he will chunk through anybody you're hitting. The splash damage is already there, so he just needs to make sure he survives. He's backed up by the Arden, who has that natural defensive capability, giving a Vanguard to his ally. So I think it's a really smart move here.
All right, well, right now we got Team Phoenix sitting up in the lane, looking to maybe stop Team Solo Mid from being able to rotate back up there. Flash is going to be the one to move forward first. That's a huge impale. Hits a few people. Willie, he hasn't gone for the Giphian yet. Can he find something good here? Vainglory quite low. As his best Chuck, but they're going to back away for now. Mango got to be careful not to overextend. Willie could be the first kill. Team Solo Mid draw first blood for North America at the World Championship Finals.
Whew, I mean, this is just a game of positioning. They're juggling the damage back and forth. Both teams you see spreading that damage out on a very high level, and they do it better than anyone, but right there, Willie just overstaying a little bit too long.
Yeah, and that's something uncharacteristic, I would argue, from Phoenix Armada. Although having said that, you know, talking about the regions these teams are coming from, East Asia typically play together a lot, focus a lot on the lane and objectives.
Right.
North America, very jungle heavy, and you got to wonder if maybe Phoenix Armada aren't going to be able to have the same kind of pressure in the jungle, in those skirmishes below the lane that Team Solo Mid do.
Well, they have the skills, but I think if you look back to earlier today, Gangstars actually showed a lot of weaknesses in this team, and I think Team Solo Mid sitting there watching these matches, they probably learned a lot from that. And if they can exploit those same weaknesses, I think they stand a very good chance for success here. But really, we talked about before, elements of surprise. Don't face check a bush. Make sure you have a flare down everywhere you go. And as long as they can do that, it should be just fine.
All right, so taking stock right now, even with that one kill Team Solo Mid picked up earlier on, they are at a very small gold deficit. So Phoenix Armada farming spectacularly well as per usual. You can see with the number of minions in the wave still there, Druid is at a bit of an advantage over Best Chuck NA. Vainglory's been doing a great job in the jungle too, but actually behind Mango, even though Vainglory's just been soloing up and getting a bit more experience perhaps. Now with Phoenix rotating down towards the shop, picking up a fountain already on Willie. That's going to be one for Arden as well. Flash X, we might see some pretty intense fights coming up.
Yeah, I mean, these are the moments where you start to think about the team fights coming out on the map.
Oh, Vainglory, that's a bad spot to be in. Yummy Cat and Frenzy comes across. Phoenix Armada even up the kills at 1-for-1.
Now, Vainglory knew that a couple opponents were there. I'm not sure if he knew exactly how many people were going to collapse on him, and that's a little bit elements of surprise coming in there. Also, Vainglory, we know as one of the most aggressive players in the scene, no fear, just fight. So kind of blowing up in his face there, but Vainglory, he's still in a great position as Samuel to get a lot of work done in this game.
Absolutely. Now, talk to me a little bit about the builds that we have coming out from different players here. Best Chuck's just finished up a Sara Blade. Decent timing on that. Druid has his already. Mango, what itemization would you like him to go into here? It looks like maybe the Aftershock.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go into the Aftershock. I think the most successful route that we've actually seen the Koshkas going is just getting straight into a Shatterglass, just bursting someone's face off, and going up against the Sky. That's what I personally would like to see, but Mango, he's been playing this Koshka to a very high level, so I'm sure this is, you know, something that they've talked about and feel is the best strategy here.
All right, Vainglory, he's got himself a broken myth now, heading back from base. This does mean Phoenix Armada, just for a little bit here, have a man advantage in the lane. We know that the East Asian region is known for the pushing power in the early game. If they get one turret, things can go wrong. Flash X, speaking of things going wrong, is caught out, gets taken down. Mango and Druid find another kill for the Korean squad.
I mean, this is deja vu to what just happened to Vainglory. You have two people collapse and one come from the south. All of a sudden, 3 players are on top of you and you get melted right there. I think they just have to realize that this Phoenix team, if you see 1 or 2 collapsing on
Yummy
you,
Cat and Frenzy, hang on a second. Eunice, that's so much damage landing on the Vainglory. You misstep just an inch, you're gonna get taken down.
Yeah, what I was literally saying in that sentence, if you see 1 Phoenix player running at you, you have to imagine that all 3 are about to collapse.
It's a very good point. We know it's how they like to play. This has led to a massive lead beginning to accrue for Phoenix Armada, considering how early it is in the game. They're finding all the back camps after they pick up kills. They've got the gold miner already. I think, honestly, we just need to see a little bit more vision from the side of Team Solo Mid to actually deal with the aggression out of Armada right now.
Yeah, we need vision. It's also a playstyle thing. If you do not have the vision, then don't stand in a forward position, right? Like, you need to stand under the safety of your turret just a little bit more. But right now, Team Solo Mid, they have a lot more tools at their disposal. You have the Gauntlet ready to go. Best Chuck hitting his level 6 is a really big deal as well. Let's see if we're going to have a bit of an engage. Both teams just poking back and forth here.
Druid's now finished both his Sara Blade and his breaking point, so sitting actually decently ahead of Best Chuck NA. In terms of the itemization, they're actually around the same gold in their pockets. Druid is going to be a big threat in this next fight. That's the Yummy Cat and Frenzy right after the Impale. There's the Aces High. Best Chuck NA didn't even get a chance to tap his iPad during that fight. He's going to have to back away to the fountain. Sanctuaries. It goes down. Phoenix Armada pick up yet another kill.
It looked like Best Chuck was stuck inside a pinball machine right there, to be honest. Once he was engaged on, there was really nothing he could do.
VonC, gotta be careful trying to get the damage down onto Willie. The dive coming out. Druid pops the boots. He gets the kill, dodging the Oblivion as he walks away. Very nice engagement there. Honestly, if you don't have 3 members, I think it's a bit dicey trying to find any poke damage right now.
It really is dicey. Your biggest strength at this point is VonC on the Samuel. And honestly, with the Broken Myth as his first item, he needs to get a stack or 2 before you even start to think about doing anything aggressive or putting yourself in a position where if you're engaged upon, like, it's going to be a team fight right here. Best Chuck, without this breaking point, without another item, he's really not that strong.
Not to mention, Druid now has an infusion in his pocket as well. He can pop that later on. You know, it's funny, we were talking about our featured players to watch for the grand finals being Willie and Flash X.
Right.
They've been on point in terms of itemization this game, both hitting those spikes at the exact same times. It does mean that Team Solomid have the tools they need to win a fight. Are they going to do it here? The impale dodge this time by Best Chuck NA. He does throw down that death from above, but not going to catch anyone inside of it. Phoenix playing safe, don't want to overextend. They do get a lot of damage down with those buckshots though.
Yeah, and right now it's pretty clear that Phoenix does have the early game advantage, and they're playing that advantage out pretty well here. But you're playing up against one of the best teams in the world in Team Solo Mid. This is a team that will adapt to your playstyle. So, you know, they're going to get caught once, twice, but as this game starts to unfold, I would expect to see TSM start to make slightly different rotations and react to the movements of Phoenix here.
Now, looking at the gold as a whole, we're sitting at about a 4,000 gold lead to Phoenix Armada. Obviously, that's giving them a lot of potency, but we mentioned earlier their comp kind of lends itself to the earlier stages of the game, too. Team Solo Mid, if they can push this late enough, are they going to outscale Phoenix Armada?
I think on paper you could say that they could outscale them, but really, I'm not going to give it over. I'm not going to say it's one of those games where you just have that super late game comp and it's clearly a winner in the late game. Druid on this win will be able to do a lot of damage.
Oh, VonC getting stunned up by the aces high. He's right in the middle of Phoenix. Does find that Oblivion. Some good damage going down. Best Chuck with the block on the yummy catnip frenzy. Flash wants to go back in. Best Chuck, he's got a lot of damage right now. Can he find Mango? He does.
Got it.
Looking for Willie as well. Considering how low health Druid is. Nice Surrey strike over the wall. Best Chuck keeping the pressure on. Has the movement speed from hitting that locked on target. But here comes the impale. Best Chuck, he's out of energy. The damage is there. Druid and Willie pick up the return kill. 8 kills to 2. Phoenix Armada looking strong.
All right, VonC wants some though. VonC.
Oh, I don't know if he wants it that bad.
Oh, no!
Look at this. He gets
VonC!
1 Malice and Verdict off. That's it. He goes down. Nearly giving over an ace given Flash's respawn timer there. Biting off a little bit too much.
All right, I referenced the Gangstars game earlier, but it's the same thing unfolding. Now, the opponent against Phoenix feels like they have an advantage, so they're going to go ahead and chase. But the problem is you don't have vision, so you face check a bush, and suddenly Phoenix know that if they just surprise you, they will kill you. They turn better than anyone.
Flash X, Githian walled into the remains of his tier 1 turret. Also impaled, trying to back away. The Githian walls just keep on coming, though. Druid with the heroic perk takes him down. VonC is finding some good poke damage, but now with Mango here, Team Solo Mid are feeling a little bit scared about engaging. You wouldn't expect to hear that from a team with VonC on it.
I'm not sure that those would be the words that he would use, but maybe just Flash in his ear there, letting him know that this is really not the opportunity to get in there and try to take one of these fights. But yeah, I mean, Phoenix are in complete control of this game. The net worth building upon itself. They're doing everything correct, everything that they need to do right here. VonC trying to get a little bit of his jungle. Let's see if he gets punished for it.
Oh, Mango spots him. VonC quite low on energy right now. It's going to be a tough sell for him to get out of this one. Flash thinks about helping him out, but ultimately, I think he knows the best plan is just to back away. Mango should be able to take down VonC. He does. It's 11 kills now for Phoenix Armada. TSM just hugging their second tier turret.
Yeah, they are, but there's really nothing else they can do. A lot of times, teams get pushed into this position. You can't get out into your jungle. The only and best thing you can do is farm as well as you can in this lane. And it looks like Phoenix maybe even want to engage under this turret. Turret's going to be going down. Just everything going their way.
Honestly, every single time Phoenix get a kill, you gotta worry about your turret, and even with 2 people there, Team Solo Mid can't defend that push. The gold lead is getting out of hand right now. Things could snowball out of control, and this is something Phoenix Armada's Druid said he thought was the strength of their team.
And talk about being out of control. the scout traps on this map are out of control. If you look at the vision coming out of Phoenix right now, this is absolutely insane. And there is no way that Team Solo Mid is going to move out into this map and catch Phoenix by surprise here.
Absolutely not, but on the other hand, Team Solo Mid definitely need to be careful about being caught by surprise. Flash hasn't really had the ability to lay down any traps. He is buying flares, which is obviously a good investment when you're just trying to check a few places to maybe move up, take your back camps. But I kind of like the fact that all of his money is going towards those big ticket items. He knows that one good fight could be a huge difference for Team Solo Mid coming back into this game.
Yeah, it could. I don't disagree with the items that he's built starting off here, but I do think War Treads is going to be a really big deal for his team. You already have Sky, the highly mobile weapon carry for his team here. Vainglory on the Samuel. If you can just boost them into position with a nice War Tread, it really would do a lot for this team. We'll see if he builds into it moving on here.
All right, Team Phoenix starting to think about going in here. That's the Aces High, lands on the Flash X. He's going to be going down yet again, as I said before he can even tap on his tablet. Vainglory as well, getting slowed up by the buckshot, stunned into the turret, even without the reflex block. Now Best Chuck jumped on. This is absolutely insane, Humanist. Phoenix Armada, they're walking circles around Team Solo Mid.
They're running circles around Team Solo Mid right now. And that's pretty tough to say. They're going to end the game right now. They're about to take them down.
Mid, they can't get through these health values. They even canceled the gauntlet.
Bad man has canceled that gauntlet off.
He can't do anything. 14 kills here in around 14 minutes. Phoenix Armada starting these grand finals off very strong.
Oh my. Every single member of Phoenix showing up here in game number 1. Now, this is a best of 7, right? So plenty of chances to come back and get yourself going here. But honestly, TSM, they got to be a little bit shaken up. They gave that Koshka away, right? It felt like they must have a plan going into this.
They banned a Kestrel, right? And I can understand why you'd want to do that. Druid showed a mean Kestrel yesterday. But at the same time, they're the ones that came into the tournament and said Koshka's what we're gonna be prioritizing. They did that. Phoenix took note of that, made it work for themselves.
Yeah, they did.
And now TSM isn't necessarily giving it the same level.
It seems like every single team that grabs this Koshka is having a lot of success with it.
Absolutely. Well, that was a very quick game. Phoenix Armada starting things off in dominating fashion. I'm curious to hear our analysts' thought as we head into game 2.
Thank you very much, guys. Phoenix Armada made that almost look like child's play. It was an insane opening game from them. 14 minutes basically winning the outright. What did they do so well against TSM?
Same thing that they're doing every time they get Koshka. They're just controlling the entire game and reacting in-game to what the potential shutdown opportunities are going to be. You even saw Koshka pick up an early reflex that game, so every time she dove Samuel and he threw Oblivion on himself, she never got stunned by it. Like, usually you're always trying to convince players, like, pick up a reflex against the Koshka, right? Like, you're going to need it against the Koshka. Well, Koshka has her own. Like, these teams are adapting. They're smart. They understand that it's not all about the damage. It's a lot about the positioning. And itemization coming out of Armada that game was perfect.
Yeah, and you also have to think about this, is that Koshka, she's able to apply a lot of pressure very early on in the jungle. She did exactly that. So Vainglory, he responded the only way he could, by going up to lane. But every single one of his Malice and Verdicts was being body blocked by Lance. There was no way for him to get onto the carries. And this is exactly where Armada want to fight, especially with this composition. They want to be able to body block those Samuel hits.
It's now catch-22 for TSM. You give Kestrel to Druid, or you give Koshka over to Mango. Is it almost in this situation, especially when you're A side for Phoenix Armada, that you end up in this situation?
I definitely think you need to ban Koshka if you're on B side, and you just don't give it over, or you play a composition that actually works into it. Teams are not adjusting their drafts for Koshka, period. It's like they refuse to pick counters into this hero. They want to try to play a mechanic game, a dodge position game. Mango's Koshka is way too crazy for that to happen.
Absolutely. Now also Flash X on this Arden, not working out for him, didn't work out for him huge amounts during the Hammer's Velocity game. Do you want to see him move off of that? I mean, where is he standing on that particular support hero?
I think he does. I think he definitely needs to move off the Arden, especially going into that Gwen. She's got her Skedaddle. She can get out of the Gauntlet very easily. And then you've got this Koshka in it who's quite happy, to be honest, to stay in it. So the Gauntlet's not working too much. They're not managing to catch Druid out every single time because of the positioning coming out from Armada.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a little replay just to have a look at from that game. Let's run through what happened. I think they were already in the dominant position. This is the final team fight.
Yeah, I mean, right here you see the aces high, land on flash. Like, the damage is too high for him to survive. He doesn't get a Crucible off. He doesn't get a Fountain off. And then the slow from Gwen really allows Willie to step in and actually get the stuns on them. And of course, Best Chuck unable to reflex block the Koshka ult. And that's just the story of the entire match. It's them coming at different angles. We saw TSM slip in the early game because Mango was able to, the first time gank, use boots from their side of the lane bush and get an early jump onto Von C. And then the next time he comes from the top of the lane bush, once again, just TSM not knowing where this Koshka is going to be at. I mean, a 4,000 gold lead at 10 minutes against TSM, the reigning North American champions. Like, that's pretty insane.
I mean, they've done this before. They did it against Gangstar's Sirius, and Sirius found a way back in. They did force Phoenix Armada into an awkward draft phase. Is this going to be a key for them going forward? Do you have to make Phoenix Armada make some awkward or interesting decisions in the draft phase?
I mean, I definitely think it doesn't hurt, right? Like, if you can ever push a team into an uncomfortable draft, that's always a good idea. I mean, the thing that was key for Armada losing that was they were on heroes that just didn't have early game pressure, so they were always trying to compete throughout team fights against, once again, Koshka. Teams, do something about this pick.
Absolutely. And when we saw in the first game of the day between Armada and Gangstar Sirius, one thing I did comment on was their use of early infusions. So the moment that in those games, when they come slightly ahead, and it's so easy for them to do that with that Koshka, they pick up the infusions, they get this massive power spike. It's so worth it spending that 500 gold on those crystal infusions. They go straight in, and it's just ace after ace after ace from then on.
I mean, they have looked so good. They've almost used TSM's meta-changing pick against them here. They picked it up from Von C, having shown it early on in the competition, and now everybody's using it. And Phoenix Armada, they use it better than anybody else right now. Mango is insane. We're going to be getting into the draft phase just about now. We're into the second game of this best-in-7 series. I think that the Koshka ban comes out from Phoenix Armada. It does.
Yeah, they're not going to let that go over. They did this mistake in the last series with Gangstar Sirius. They let the Koshka slip through. They're not going to do it. They understand the priority. Would much rather go up against the Kestrel for TSM.
It wouldn't surprise me for us to be seeing a glaive being picked up by Mango. He'd be very powerful, but we're going to be seeing that Taka instead from Armada.
That's a very interesting first draft from Armada. It's something very unique we haven't seen from them yet. They pulled the Taka. Once again, Lance does go over to Willie, one of his comfort picks. We see the Arden, though, go back to Flash. They're still feeling like this is the roam they want to run with.
Well, we're going to be seeing this Scarf, and when we saw this Taka Scarf matchup before, the Taka did not work well at all, and hopefully this isn't going to be a Crystal Taka.
Yeah, but we saw Scarf have a double protection composition when we saw the Taka do poorly into it. You don't have a double protection composition here, you've got two threats, and it's just the Arden. You don't have Lance, who was probably doing the majority of the work, and the Adagio for the heals. Don't know if it's going to work the way that TSM are predicting it to.
But you can kind of see Armada spending in a little extra time thinking, not expecting TSM necessarily to pull out the Scarf for Best Chuck, but they do go with the Sky, looking for other opportunities. Lance in the Scarf, much better than Arden in the Scarf.
Absolutely. Let's get into this next game. AJ and Humanist, take it away.
Thank you very much, Scoundrel. Game 1 was over in a flash, it felt, but Game 2, I think with the compositions the way they're currently standing, we might see something a little bit different, right? Like, we saw this Taka earlier from Team Solo Mid, and it struggled quite noticeably a lot of the time. So do you think it makes more sense here? Do you think Phoenix Armada are going to be able to make it work?
Well, I think if there's a team that's going to be able to make it work, it would be Phoenix Armada here, but both of these teams actually have incredibly strong drafts. While on the flip side, for Team Solo Mid, you don't have that double protection composition around the Scarf. You have this Kestrel out here, and this is something that you're going to have to respect, and this is a Von C Kestrel. So if you're focusing down Best Chuck on the Scarf, you're getting blown up by Von C's Kestrel.
Looking forward to see, of course, how Von C's Kestrel does do. It is a very signature hero for him and has been for a long time. Look at Druid in the lane, however. Already putting a lot of pressure on the Best Chuck, forcing out that Halcyon Potion. The Minion Candy really making it difficult for Best Chuck to go for that CS too easily.
Yeah, and Best Chuck starting with this light armor here. It's a pretty nice choice. You know that Druid's going to come out there with that Weapon Blade. It helps him in that lane. He just takes a little bit less damage, and against a player like Druid, you know he's going to be harassing.
Absolutely. So, talking about builds and the items that are being picked up, we of course see these two Weapon Blades on Phoenix Armada already on Mango and Druid. Would you like to see them go double weapon, force a lot of fights in the mid-game, try and end things kind of quickly against this Scarf?
It's really tough. Honestly, I think they need to see how this game's playing out, but I wouldn't like to see them go double weapon. I think go ahead and get some real burst coming out of this Taka would be my preference, but honestly, Phoenix, they might have something up their sleeve here that we might not expect.
Absolutely. Druid doing a good job of trading in the flash there. Willie with a nice impale to kick that one off. Both the junglers being quite passive for the time being, with both Mango and Vainglory sitting back and farming up. I feel like the pace of this game should be quite different from last week.
Well, this is all around power spikes right here. Willie, an interesting boot right up into the lane. It looked like they were even trying to get it engaged.
Really didn't want to waste any time, but was this the right decision? You can see, of course, with Vainglory already being there ahead of Mango, lots of damage goes his way. I'm surprised by the boost. I mean, why do you think he decided to do that?
Well, honestly, even in a 2v3 situation, if Willie lands that impale, there's a good chance that Chuck actually dies there, because while Druid wasn't right behind him, he could have easily target locked, Surge Struck into position, and just laid that forward barrage and a couple basics down there.
All right, Flash this time going to be the one that gets impaled. Lots of forward barrage damage coming down. Certainly, this early in the game, Druid is doing a lot of work. Now with the rotation into the jungle, picking up some more itemization, should be able to come back to lane and really keep the pressure on Chuck.
All right, well, we do see Mango picking up the Stormguard banner here, and Hourglass as well, so he may be going into that little bit, you know, the Tension Crown type of build, or not the Aftershock with that. And I think it should be pretty good for him. We'll see if he completes that Storm Crown. It's all about, do they start to snowball? Does he need to start completing some CP items? But this is my preference getting into this game.
So one thing I think really interesting about this composition the Team Solomon is playing is that on Twitter, although hang on a second, Flash X on the wall, and this time Mango is actually here. Druid finding some good damage with the forward barrage. Mango wants that first blood. He's hunting down Vainglory, picks up the kill. Flash can't get away with another impeccable stun out of Willie. Phoenix Armada pick up the double kill.
Yeah, that was pretty insane right there, but Mango pushing this Taka to the limits. I was pretty surprised when people were saying, and we know that Taka wasn't really like in this overall meta, but I was surprised that people weren't putting an emphasis on it at all, because the mobility, the burst that comes out of this hero is insane. And Mango has not hit that level 6. When X-Retsu comes online, it feels like Taka is a whole new hero.
Absolutely, and I want to return to my previous point about TSM's team composition, because I think it's very interesting. Flash has been, saying recently that the team who does well, if they're going to beat Phoenix at Worlds, is going to be the one who imitates their style and maybe manages to do it a bit better. This is not really a Phoenix thing. I mean, we've not seen them play this kind of comp with the Scarf before. Someone's actually imitating Hammers, who they struggled against earlier on today. So I'm quite curious that they've had this change of heart so close to the finals.
Well, I think it's like oversimplified a little bit when you say like the team that imitates Phoenix is the team that's going to win. I think you need to take a little bit from every single team that you see is working, and that's where the overall best gameplay is going to come from. Every single one of these teams here, every one of the teams that's been eliminated has done things that the other teams have not done. And so if you can put all these things together, that's going to make the best team here.
All right, we see the Storm Crown actually finished up by Mango here. This is a significant diversion from what we saw out of Vainglory earlier, who kept the banner for a very long time. But obviously does give quite a lot of stats to Mango.
Yeah, this is really nice. And the thing is, if he gets into the jungle right now, which he hasn't invaded too much, he can really start to steal away a lot of games here.
All right, well, Phoenix Armada for the time being are not really making too many moves down there. They're focusing a lot of their attention towards the lane. Willie's constantly going for the impales, trying to land them. Not going to get that one. Flash does get hit by the gifting wall, though. It's just a war of attrition, it feels like, with Phoenix Armada sometimes. They constantly pressure you until you break.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect way that you actually put that there. Flash,
Flash, that's the impale. Druid picks up the kill. Mango's nearby. They might go for the dive on the best Chuck, but without vision. Willie's flare coming out a little bit late there. It's a bit dicey trying to walk all the way up towards that bush.
Hey, yeah, I mean, but you just had the war of attrition, and it's all about these guys. They're putting damage down to the point where you have to be careful. See around the backside.
He's trying to find the actually misses his first one shot there. Does get some damage down, but that was a little bit anticlimactic because now Mango decides to try and pick him up. That's the impale as well. Vainglory, as soon as he tries to make an aggressive play, is shut down. Yet again, now the turret could be the next focus. Mango is drawing aggro on that, doesn't want to go on to Best Chuck. There's the X-Retsu Flash, has to burn the Vanguard, and Phoenix just back off.
I mean, the biggest thing I'm seeing in these first two games here is the element of surprise. Phoenix Armada are constantly rotating on TSM, and they appear to not expect these rotations to be coming through. Mango, he just walked right up there. He basic attacks right next to the turret, combos him up, and an impale comes through from Willie, and it's just rest in peace. What are you going to do against that? We need to see Flash, and he doesn't want to do it right now, but we need to see Vision coming down. They cannot be caught by surprise.
I've got to agree. Something else I'm finding kind of interesting here, Vonsy going for the double crystal there. We frequently see maybe one picked up, but going for two, that's actually quite surprising.
Well, I mean, this is Vonsy. Vonsy is going to do what he thinks he needs to do. He honestly, and he is one of the guys that will build a little bit differently than most people expect in every single game. I think sometimes to his detriment, sometimes to the surprise of his enemies, but right here, I don't think it's really too big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, of course, remembering from day one that Crystal Power Glaive that actually put Team Solomid in a bit of a tough situation.
Let's not bring that up right now.
All right, well, let's take stock of this game instead. We've got almost the 4,000 gold lead now ticking over for Phoenix Armada. They are in dominating control of the map. We've got great vision. Best Chuck actually gonna get Githian walled back from a crazy angle. Willie, he just lands these amazing Githian walls you would never expect.
It's like he had to like dislocate his shoulder to get in position to Githian wall him back. I mean, honestly, when our analysts are talking about Willie being such a player,
hang on a second. Vonsy impaled yet again. Mango with the bleed, gonna pick up the kill. Flash X, can he get away from this one? Mango wants more, so does Druid. They're diving. Another turret. Best Chuck just respawned. Have some mercy, Phoenix. Team Solo Mid have not picked up a single kill yet.
My hands are just in the air like, what? What are you supposed to do there? I'm not sure Phoenix even care about turrets right now. They just see heroes, they see potential money.
Vonsy gonna be picked up yet again as Mango keeps the aggression going. Phoenix Armada have more than a kill a minute at 8 minutes into the game. They want more still. Best Chuck. Mango! He falls. Flash, can he even get back to the sanctuary just to catch his breath? Look at how quick the respawn timers are. How are Phoenix making this happen? How are Team Solo Mid not forcing them back? Finally, they start moving. Willie eats that one-shot, one kill. Druid wanted more. He almost jumped through that gauntlet. Willie could be going down here. Can Team Solo Mid pick up one kill? Mango into the base. He's going for fun.
Mango!
He picks up the kill. What is happening, Humanist?
Well, basically, I'm pretty sure Mango was listening to the analysts hype Druid and Willie up, and they were like, yeah, Mango's pretty good too. And Mango showed up here trying to make a point that he is one of the studs you need to keep your eyes on. Honestly, this is just phenomenal.
He was like, you know, this just isn't the meta for me. I can't play those aggressive assassins other than Koshka and just constantly get banned or picked. Give me Taka.
Give me the Taka. Mango Unchained here.
All right.
What we can do.
Almost 24, now 24,000 gold to Phoenix Armada. They are, of course, massively in the lead. Honestly, Team Solo Mid, how can they come back into this one? Normally with a Scarf, you're expecting to kind of play from behind. You want to hit the late game before you're powerful. But when you're this far behind, are you going to even get there?
Well, if you don't think you're going to get there, that's like giving up. This team's not going to do that. You have to play as defensively as you have ever played in your life. But you need to get the scout traps down. You need to have vision. You can't be flaring out every single position. I like that at least we have these couple scout traps here, but as they push out, if they have one moment, I need to see Flash getting this vision down across the map. And if he can do so, at least they're not going to be surprised.
Well, we'll see if he can find any opportunity too as Phoenix back up, take some more of those camps away from Team Solo Mid. They're really just denying every single advantage that Team Solo Mid could maybe get to pull themselves back into the no sources of gold on the map for them. Team Solo Mid's just playing to the beat of Phoenix Armada.
Yeah, and honestly, you almost have to pull off like a super surprise of your own coming out of Team Solo Mid. Maybe even a bait situation. If you can get Best Chuck into a position where there's an active camo right behind him and have Mango X Retsu into that. I mean, but if that's your win condition, well, good luck. And right now, they need a bit of luck on their side. 11-1. We're not even 11 minutes into this game right now. Phoenix just on a tear.
They really are. Best Chuck has recently picked up his evil harvest. If a fight goes long enough, perhaps he can maybe turn it around. Up until this point, they have not been going particularly long, though. Mango moving forwards, looking for Best Chuck right now. Look at the damage right away. That forces the Dragon's Breath while Best Chuck is still in his team's sanctuary. The siege is difficult for Phoenix this early in the game, though, because the turret's still doing some serious work. The Bonzi does get impaled. That's the gauntlet. Flash wants to make something happen. One shot does connect with Mango. Druid stunned up. He's got to be careful. Bouncing back. There's the bounce. Flash goes down. Bonzi to follow.
Wow.
Best Chuck, he's in the 1 versus 2. Can Willie land the Githian wall? Not quite, but Mango doesn't care. He wants the kill. He wants the ace. Phoenix Armada, they might even end things 11 minutes into this game.
Mango wants to tango. He got some right there. These guys, 1 Vein Crystal turret remaining. This is just phenomenal gameplay. I mean, to make teams solo mid this far behind, this early in the game, it's absolutely insane right here. Like, TSM came in, it looked like they had a pretty strong opinion of how they were going to play this game, taking the Scarf. This is something that they had to have talked about, you know, coming into this matchup as, you know, a key to victory if they see these kind of heroes coming out on the map.
Absolutely, and you know, at points during this game, we've had close to 1,000 gold lead per minute for Phoenix Armada. That's just numbers that we don't even normally make a point about because they don't happen. Gold mine are now being taken by Phoenix 2. Returning to the point about the plan of Team Solo Mid,
Gold payout collected.
is it really the case, though, that they've had this plan for a while, or is it something inspired by hammers? Hang on a second, Best Chuck hit by the Impale, Bonzi very low, Best Chuck goes down. This fight is over in a flash, and Flash is the last one trying to get out of here. Mango gonna be on the hunt, finds the kill.
Yeah.
Phoenix Armada, they're thinking they want to end things right here, pushing into the base of Team Solo Mid. Whew. Man, Team Solo Mid has some serious work to do to dig themselves out of this series and start to make their comeback as we move forward into Game 3.
Well, my goodness gracious. Phoenix, look at these guys. I mean, they're pretty happy right there. High fives around. Druid still tapping away. I like this guy. I gotta tell you, Jackson, though, this is impressive stuff. For TSM, you can't allow yourself to be, you know, tilted. You have to keep the strong mental focus moving forward here, but this is a tough place to be in. If you have a surprise, if there's a pocket comp that Flash has been working with, no, I'm just kidding. You got to pull it out right now. Nothing can be held back.
I've got to agree. Maybe our analysts have some kind of idea of what pocket comp that might be, or maybe Fuji will just talk about Ban and Koshka some more. Let's pass it on back to our analysts.
I don't know about pocket comp, but I've got something in my pocket that might help TSM. A bit of the red, white, and blue. Come on, guys, get behind your home team. I think they need it right now because, honestly, Phoenix Armada have looked insane and deservedly so. You know, these guys are predicted, respected, and seen as the best in the world for a reason.
I mean, their plays are just very crisp. They just do stuff better than everyone else in every aspect of the game. When it comes to mechanics, they're better. When it's positioning and pressuring turret, they're better. Their itemization is better. When you have all of these things that add up, you get these crazy, like, sub-15-minute games against the top of the other region. I mean, it's just, I believe Action Jackson said, like, a 1K gold lead per minute. That's pretty out of this world.
That's pretty out of this world. And you mentioned something during the break, and you said it's something that we see developed in a lot of other games, but it's starting to develop in Vainglory, and it's a lot about that minion wave control. That's why you're seeing minion candies come into Worlds as a big meta point, and the only team that seems to do this with absolute pinpoint precision is Phoenix Armada.
Yeah, so like it's still such an element of strategy that I think a lot of teams just aren't utilizing. They're not practicing it, but the ability to maintain control of your wave on the map where you want it is pretty critical. It's one of the reasons why Druid is also able to get so many CS advantages, is because it's not just him that knows how to last hit. His roam does. Willie knows when to go up, when to push the wave, how to stall it. You saw when the wave was trying to escape the base, Willie actually stalled it out, so you have 3 waves stacking onto one of the side of Phoenix Armada, so it gets killed off, it stalls out, gives them time to take the jungle, gives them time to take gold mine, and then they go back up and clear the full wave again, which puts, you know, Druid at like 140 CS in 10 minutes.
A look at this replay. It's that tower dive that we saw early on.
Yeah, and they're just absolutely just so far ahead right now. They're 5K ahead. Flash X, this is actually a great moment. Instead of they switch from Flash X onto Best Chuck NA, I don't think anyone really saw that coming, and they just go for Flash X, pick up the ace there.
I think it speaks volumes when at 7 minutes you can dive 2 towers and get out alive and only sacrifice one of your members who actually went for a tower dive into the Vein Crystal towers.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, they're just so strong. You know, adding to the point that you were saying earlier about their strategy, they just look at this game so much more deeper. And if you're looking at the efficiency, where you're saying about Willie controlling the wave, he goes up, keeps the wave well back, whilst Druid and Mango go down to the jungle, and they get a lot of gold from that. And not only that, even though they're feeding all the gold towards Druid, Mango's getting a lot of the kills. He was like 11, 1, and 5 there. So he's not actually falling that far behind in personal gold.
Yeah, it's not just about keeping the minions from crashing into your turret as well. It's about knowing where to stop them so that they have so much time to be able to push. And you'll notice every time these dives take place, they're always able to get an objective because the wave is on the way. It's not like there's a scrappy team fight in the enemy jungle and then Druid has to go back to his base to clear a wave at their own turret. They're thinking 3 steps ahead of where TSM is at right now, and it's going to secure them a championship unless TSM really pulls it together.
Now, about an hour ago, what would have been a genuine question, I feel like I'm now going to be asking a rhetorical one. What can TSM do to stop this train, Phoenix Armada, coming through? Does it start in this draft phase?
Of course it does. Well, they made step 1 happen already, and that's you do not let Koshka go over to Armada. Koshka needs to be banned forever for the rest of this tournament at this point, and you now start moving your meta into different areas.
Oh, there we go. You're taking it
Lance
away from Willie because he is just so dominant.
But not only the Lance, they're taking the Gwen away from Druid. Although Druid possibly is going to get the Kestrel, if Mango might guess it, we don't know. But it certainly makes things more difficult for Armada in terms of the draft.
Chatting to Playoff Beard in the off period during the game, he said, you've got to take Lance away. Like, Lance has been so influential for these guys, and they're going to respond with the Ardent, swapping over roams, and they're going to pick up the Celeste too.
I would love to see TSM prioritize a really strong weapon-powered jungler here and move to a CP Gwen late game, because that against the Celeste and the Kestrel is going to do so much work if they're willing to invest into that strategy.
Bonsi, they're going to go for a Samuel here. It's a poke war at its finest.
I don't know if you go into a poke war with Phoenix Armada. You need an advantage from draft. You don't want to break even coming out.
Well, here we go. Xingyi, where are you thinking?
Well, look at the Samuel. The Samuel didn't work so well last time because of the body blocking coming out from Will. I'm just wondering if he can do the same again with this Arden.
Now, one of the things that Phoenix Armada have been doing consistently is all these abilities to just engage. I think Willie hit like 90% of the impales. I mean, it was ridiculous. Let's get into this game, though. Can TSM mount a comeback? Humanist and AJ, take it away.
Thank you again, Scoundrel. We're here with Game 3 of our Grand Finals, and man, Team Solo Mid has their backs against the wall. They can still afford to lose this one more game and then bounce back, but I'm sure they don't want to. I'm sure their fans don't want them to either. Let's head on to the Halcyon Fold and find out if they will.
Well, at the beginning of today, there were 3 NA teams here with a chance. Now only 1 remains, and as you said, their backs are against the wall. Desperate times call for, well, it was a desperate situation, and
so Vainglory
basically they need to just absolutely pull out a masterful piece of work here, and they need to absolutely change everything they've been doing. I think that there are things that they've been trying to do that feel forced, and in this game, they need to just play Vainglory.
Alright, well, Vainglory went that early weapon blade. I wasn't sure if that was indicating maybe something we saw from him during the regular season of Evil 8, which is that weapon Samuel, but here comes the rotate out of Druid. Phoenix, they want to go for a fight, but Druid actually getting impaled quite quickly here. He might go down. Flash picks up the kill. He's very low health, but he gets out of there. Mango, he's trying to chase, but Best Chuck, he's going to pick it up. Team Solo Mid, they rally here in Hollywood and pick up 2 kills to kick off this game.
Yeah, I mean, that was really nice. TSM able to take advantage of that. But Phoenix, a little bit just overstepping themselves there and a bit uncharacteristic of this team. But TSM doing exactly what they need to do there, and it's really nice. This is a great way for them to be starting off this game.
Oh, and Willie, talking about starting off the game right, Team Solo Mid find another kill. Have we discovered the secret sauce, Humanist? Is it taking Willie off that Lance?
Well, if Willie forgets how to rotate when he's not playing Lance, then yes.
I suppose that is a fair point. We got Flash X and Vainglory making their way back to the shop. What are they going to pick up as the game goes on? I'm really curious about how Vainglory is going to choose to play this, for example. Flash probably going to be going for that fountain. No surprise
But you asked when the game was leading if we're going to see the weapon Samuel coming out, and I just hope that that's not what we would see here.
The reason I asked is because Fuji was saying, okay, they want a strong weapon early jungler. Vainglory's weapon Samuel has actually been very strong in the early game in the Evil 8. That's a different level of competition. It's a different situation than here at the World Championship. I guess maybe Vainglory not wanting to take that risk.
Well, as of this morning, it was almost Evil 8. plus Phoenix Armada, essentially. But right now, TSM doing a pretty good job. 3 kills here, 2.5 minutes in. They're doing exactly what they need to do. We see Von C getting into a little bit of an engage, or trying to be harassing.
Druid getting the wall there in the same place that Phoenix was making a lot of their plays last game. See Flash taking some inspiration with his rotations and the types of plays he's trying to make. Even with the 3-kill advantage, though, it's important to realize Team Solo Mid not particularly far ahead. In fact, they're about 100 gold at the lead. In fact, now just falling behind. Bestchuck's got to leave his lane, try and get back to the turret as Druid actually moves forwards. He wants to go for that core collapse, can't find it. Von C making his way up, taking a lot of poke damage with flashes here. Bestchuck trying to set this kill up. Von C, can he get close enough? 2-man nice coming out of Flash. Willie knocked back. He's been betrayed by Lance. Flash and Team Solo Mid pick up another kill. Von C actually, look at this. Von C wants a little bit more, finds that Malice. Doesn't get the verdict, but he's certainly toying with the idea of going in here. We know what he's like. That's the Drifting Dark. Oh, that's a bit wide. It's not going to land. Mango should be able to get away.
Right, but Von C posturing there means that they're not taking anything away from the jungle, so this could turn out to, to go against them here, but Mango sitting on very low health. It looks like it's still going the way of TSM.
It is for now. Von C as well trying to take the back treant too. See Team Solo Mid trying to just eke out every advantage in the early game they possibly can.
Yeah, this is still trading back pretty evenly though, as you said before, even though the kill lead going the way of TSM. Let's see if they can start to get some advantage off of this. We're 4 minutes into the game. We have mini miners out on the map.
If we're talking about some of the stuff that the analyst mentioned before and wave control, I think that's a great example of Team Solo Mid maybe not having that same level as Phoenix Armada. They did not have a wave to work with whilst Von C pushed people off of the turret by moving behind it. Instead, Bestchuck had to shove like another wave, and another wave, and another wave, and as a result, you gotta wonder if maybe Von C should have just gone for the jungle invade, should have just gone for the back camps immediately. In the end, it worked out similarly, but in terms of the amount of time it took Team Solo Mid to accomplish the same thing, it was much longer.
Yeah, it definitely was. I think there's something to be said for both approaches there. Von C also was keeping Phoenix from teleporting back to base, regening up, and purchasing some items, so that's definitely a benefit to his. But as you said, I think Phoenix definitely have the play there.
Alright, well Phoenix do get their front camps. Willie now making his way back up towards the lane, trying to help out Druid, who by the way, not hitting that 10 CS per minute mark just yet. Actually sitting around 40 at 5. Get back to that overlay. Let's see, Von C, Bestchuck. Bestchuck is at least equal for the time being. Yeah, so doing a good job with that early advantage Team Solo Mid's accrued.
Yeah, I mean, he's keeping up in the CS. He's also 2-0-2 right now. He's going to be building probably into that Starblade breaking point that we've seen time and time again here.
Absolutely, that support collapse over the wall, and look at the poke damage coming out of Mango and Druid. It's a good return on the Mango from Von C's Samuel, but you can see if you get caught in a choke point, Phoenix can still really lay down the hurt.
Oh, they definitely can. And actually, one of the biggest weaknesses of TSM, I think, is moving through areas of the map without the proper vision. And we saw actually this exploited against them earlier in the tournament. Teams that were actually down, managing to find a way back into the game simply because Von C face checks the bush, and then suddenly he's dead. Bestchuck does the same thing. They can't afford to do that here.
Absolutely not. Every single play you make is critical here in the finals of the Vainglory World Championship. Team Solo Mid has kicked this game off well, but can they keep the ball rolling? Von C starting to make his way into invade. Mango, is he going to be able to get this camp? Doesn't look like it. Team Solo Mid keeping up.
Von C, Malice and the Verdict both missing there, but he does get the mid. They'll get the fronts as well. And TSM taking a little bit of the map away from Phoenix. This is exactly what they need to do. I like that they haven't forced it up to this point, but just continuous accumulation of resources across the map, and they're doing a really good job thus far.
Absolutely, and we do have the weapon power Gwen. She's going to spike a little bit earlier, making Team Solo Mid looking to make some more aggressive plays sometime soon. See with Flash X and Von C both moving towards the lane, that's a good indicator that they want to start applying pressure again. Turret's still unscathed for Phoenix, though. They might be able to keep this defense going. Yeah,
they should be able to. As long as you see the Helios stack up right in front, Druid, he'll go Supernova when he needs to, but it's also just a threat having that Helio down. Von C in the Drifting Darkness.
Oh, nearly walked into that action camera, but not quite. Baiting in for Flash to land the impale. Willie has the fountain. Does allow Mango to back up a little bit. Core collapse on the Von C. Team Phoenix, they think they want to turn things around here, but it's not. Oh, Flash! He can't get over the wall! That's one kill for Phoenix Armada. They want more, but it's hard for them to chase blindly into the fog of war right now.
Yeah, they overstayed their welcome right there, and they got punished for it.
Oh,
Von looks like he wants some.
He's walking through the bush. What are you doing? Mango and Druid pick up the kill. Now Best Chuck on the run. He's going to skedaddle on out of there. Team Solo mid, they got to be careful, man. Making those misplays could easily get Phoenix Armada back into this game.
Yeah, I mean, that felt like a misplay there. I thought maybe Von C was seeing something that we weren't really, but he moves up there, maybe thinking Best Chuck is just going to collapse with him, but a bit of hesitation just spells disaster for this team.
Absolutely. Now, with 2 kills on the board, Phoenix Armada has closed that gold gap again. They're within 100. Mango's picked up a Sorrow Blade. Those Glimmer shots are just going to be chunking people down. Team Solo mid, what's the best way, in your opinion, for them to keep the ball rolling, keep the pressure on Phoenix?
Well, I think, honestly, they just need to continue what they were doing that was successful in this early game, which is just apply pressure in the lane, let Von C take the mid in the front as he can without forcing it. And also, I'd like to see a surprise out of this top bush. They need to clear the scout trap.
Speaking of surprise, Mango caught unawares by Flash X's Impale, going to be going down. Von C wants Willie. He's a little bit too tanky right now. Von C's made that same rotate under the turret time and time again. Getting some good damage on them. They're going to find the first turret in the game for Team Solo mid.
Yeah, great tackle.
Oh, Oblivion! It's going to land on a Druid. Core Collapse stops Von C from following up with the damage.
Get it
Best
done!
coming in. That's another kill. Team Solo mid making the plays.
Really making the plays here. And you look at Phoenix's draft, and they have massive damage output between the Kestrel and the Celeste. Of course, Celeste not at her strongest right now. But if you get impaled, they are very squishy targets right here, and easy for TSM to take them down.
All right, you can see Mango moving in. Doesn't want to give away so many of these camps, but with the first turret down, the map is wide open for Team Solo mid. They've got the ability to push their vision across towards Phoenix's base, make sure that they're not getting caught at any point. Best Chuck, he's just finished a breaking point. Team Solo mid's really starting to hit their item breaking points overall, hit those power spikes.
Oh, they really are. They're in a great place right now.
Mango, even through the entirety of that active camo stealth, he takes a lot of damage, does find the stun onto Best Chuck, but he's gonna be taken out. TSM finds another kill, 7-2. Much better performance so far in this third game.
All right, Flash, I see you working here. Flash made that happen right there. They do not get those kills if Flash does not land an impale into the Githian wall. That was absolutely perfect, and we've given credit to Willie landing all of these engages time and time again. And we'll have to see if Flash can continue to do so, but that was a phenomenal play.
Willie has just picked up a Crucible, and one thing, I remember in the interviews, for example, we were talking to some players about the mechanics of the East Asian teams. They were saying, normally, North America, we're going to Crucible your Verse of Judgment. They were like, well, in East Asia, they're going to Crucible your Gift of Fire. They're not even going to give you the chance to get the stun. So what I'm curious about is how Willie is going to use this to get his teammates out of things like these engagements from Flash with those Impales, with those Githian walls.
Well, honestly, I think it's going to be completely situational. Willie is not the type of player that's going to just choose before the team fight happens what he's going to do useful. He's going to look to negate the biggest damage coming out.
That is the route coming out onto Mango, but the follow-up a little bit dangerous there for Team Solo mid. Oblivion coming across, not going to land. Crucible burned. Doesn't actually connect with any of the crown control coming out of Team Solo mid. Fonzie kind of low on energy, maybe Team Solo mid thinking about backing away a little bit here.
Maybe, unless he gets that corrupted genius off, right?
Yeah, but you gotta move kind of close to do that. Right now, if you move too close, Druid, Mango, Willie, they're gonna be on you like a flash. Put down the damage. Core Collapse to clear the wave. Nothing for TSM to work with to shut the turret here.
Yeah, they're doing a pretty good job thus far. As you said, they really weren't in a position to force it. I'm glad that they did not. It's going to be Von C and Flash taking the full back rotation away from Phoenix. It's a really good job. And the net worth is something that we mentioned a couple times, through the first 8 minutes of this game, which was incredibly even. Right here, we're seeing TSM actually start to stack up a little bit of lead in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is that they got that turret that gave them access to deeper and deeper parts of Phoenix's back end of the jungle. That lets them take more camps. That really, this is the difference between teams. Mango finds a stun on the Flash here, but Phoenix, they're buying their time. They're certainly a team who knows how to play passive if they need to.
Best Chuck if we look at the items that he has right now, the Sorrow Blade, the Breaking Point, the Tyrant's Monocle, and he just infused. This is what I was actually going to bring up, and it's really funny to see it come out here, but he is ahead of everybody in terms of items right now. Vainglory is holding his own infusion as well, so Team Solo Mid are ready to just devastate Phoenix if they catch anyone out here.
And is the vision going to be there for Phoenix Armada? Only flares, no scout traps on Willie, which means he's mostly just saying, okay, I think they're here right now, I'm going to check that, check that. It means if Team Solo Mid uses their scout traps, their flares to see where he is, they might be able to maybe catch them unawares. Best Chuck actually trying to use that buckshot instead of the flare to check the push. Flash taking the poke damage, tries to get back on a Willie. That's just popped. Don't know if that was necessarily needed by Phoenix. Gauntlet comes out, Vainglory stunned up inside of it. Best Chuck skedaddles through the other end. Druid does not land the Solar Storm, but he trades the kill. Mango still quite healthy over the wall. He's finding the glimmer shots onto Vainglory. Flash X extremely low. Willie and Mango, they want Vainglory. One shot, one kill comes out. Phoenix Armada, this is the turnaround, perhaps, or is it Malice and Verdict doing so much damage? Mango, he's gonna get away, but it's not the same for Willie. Vainglory stops that fight from being what Phoenix have really been looking for the past couple of minutes.
I'm actually very surprised that it traded out that evenly, and it has to come down to TSM forcing that fight. If they just take a fight on their terms in that moment, the advantage that they had right there was significant. And it's kind of tough to actually see that happen right there. Although Vainglory able to do okay cleanup in the end, it's definitely one of those fights that really could have been dominating from their side.
Absolutely, and you got to remember, guys, the pressure these teams are under is immense. They're playing for the first World Championship. Look at this fight. Vainglory unable to really get into the meat of it straight away.
Yeah, and Best Chuck forced away from his team into the back lines there as he tries to take down Druid. It's just so tough as he gets chopped down. And Mango, while he doesn't have too many items, he did such a great job there with those glimmer shots and basics over that wall. But here's Vainglory with one Malice and Verdict landing. Mango decides he just doesn't want any of that business. It's pretty easy to clean up Willie there as you had 5 stacks on that broken man.
All right, we are nearing the 15-minute mark, ladies and gentlemen, which means Kraken will be an objective on the map very soon. This is something Team Solo Mid, with the current advantage, can maybe leverage one shot. Gonna land on the Vainglory. Does that set them up for the fight?
Man,
Impale though, get involved too. Flash X with the plays. Aces high on the Druid. He cannot fight back. Willie interrupted out of the gauntlet. That means that there's nothing stopping them from maybe going on to Mango if they want. He's trying to sneak away. Can he actually get out though? There's the active camera.
There's no way
by
out.
the buckshot. Team Solo Mid pick up an ace.
They're all the way up right here. Team Solo Mid taking the perfect fight, canceling off the gauntlet. They did absolutely everything they needed to here. You're going to see the fight start off, and Phoenix feel like they have a bit of an advantage as the one-shot lands, but this two-man impale into the Githian wall. Druid just gets blown up. The Oblivion coming out, canceling off that gauntlet. Feels bad for Willie, but a very nice play out of Team Solo Mid.
All right, with that, Kraken unquestionably going to be going the way of TSM. The 12 kills to 4. They're massively ahead in gold right now at around 5,000.
A little bit of life back in this crowd back here.
Oh, man. Home crown's hyped up. Team Solo Mid, they're thinking about pushing in here, though. They got to be careful not to overextend, however. In the moment, in the rush, it could get very tempting to go too far.
Well, even the best teams can sometimes make mistakes when they get that Kraken and start pushing down into these lanes. You hope that TSM, if you're a big TSM fan, are not going to overextend here. Team Phoenix, they just need to get that damage down. They have all the tools they need here.
I mean, Phoenix, they do have a lot of poke damage. They do have the ability to kill the Kraken quite quickly. Team Solo Mid doesn't pull the trigger if they want to really make this Kraken push go as far as the Vein Crystal. But Flash X thinking about doing that right now. Roots onto Druid. Oblivion coming out as well. Crucible blocks in. Druid actually walking back in, trying to get on the back line, trying to find the damage, but he's going to be going down before Willie can even fountain. Mango, can he get the damage he needs on the Vainglory? He's stunned up just a little bit. The Drifting Dark doing the work. Team Solo Mid, they're going to take Game 3 and keep this series alive along with North America's hopes and dreams.
You know, I figure there's a lot of people out there that would have written TSM off after the first 2 games. Dominating performance out of Phoenix. But game 3, a completely different story here. I mean, at TSM, they had the draft, they executed on it, maybe 1 or 2 mistakes, but a really clean game overall.
And honestly, that was dominating. Like, we would have said that about Phoenix had they won in the same way. It was less dominating than like game 1. But
Yeah.
Team Solo Mid, if they get the right draft, they can go all the way here.
They really can, honestly. We could see TSM walk away as the champions here. I don't know if it's going to happen. Phoenix probably going to look to turn it up after getting knocked down there. But you see, when Vainglory is comfortable, there is nowhere to go.
All right, well, we're heading to a game 4, so let's hand it back on over to our analysts with Excoundrel, Fuji, and Jingyi.
ESM coming out in the 3rd game, taking a game of Phoenix Armada in a way that we saw Gangstar's Sirius achieve in the semifinals. That impenetrable wall, there are some cracks starting to show. Where is it that TSM capitalized?
I'm just like so stoked we have a series on our hands right now, because I wasn't sure after those first 2 games if TSM was going to be able to find the fire. They went with the mechanic kind of toe-to-toe, poke-poke comps, and they ended up coming out really far ahead. You could just tell whenever Armada is not ahead, they struggled sometimes to find their footing. It's perhaps sometimes you win so hard and so frequently that when you are behind, you really ever get to practice from that angle, right? Are you ever practicing from a deficit?
Absolutely agree with you there. I've got to put a lot into the Lance, and I think Playoff Beard's absolutely right. The whole thing rotates around the Lance, and although Flash X isn't as comfortable on it, the Impale is not always 100%, it just took so much of the advantage away from Phoenix Armada.
I don't want to take anything away from Flash X here. Some of the Githian walls that he set up were just insane. You know, they were almost at the level of Willy over on Phoenix Armada. But I think one of the major things is on the B side is actually taking it away from Phoenix Armada is probably as impactful as picking it for yourself. I don't think Willy looked as comfortable when he was playing the Arden. I really don't. And again, I think Arden's come out a lot during this World Championships. He hasn't had the most success.
That's very true. I mean, we've seen him play some successful Ardens in the previous days, but I would also kind of equate it to maybe some weakness from Mango on some of these kind of range carry junglers. We saw him do the Celeste against the Gangstar Sirius team that they actually lost. Mango seems kind of more suited for these Glaives, these Koshkas, these Takas, these kind of in-your-face bruisers, and that's what he was partnered with when he did Arden before. But now it's like, yes, maybe you Vanguard the Kestrel, but if for some reason you're out of position, it doesn't save your life. And unlike Lance, you can't stun people up, you can't just walk away.
Give some credit over to Vainglory as well. He came up with some clutch plays. Let's have a look at this. This is the final push by TSM where they secured the game. I mean, this is just all sort of as it stands. You know, they're already so far ahead by this point.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they are like over 6,000 gold ahead or almost at that. And you just see, like, it doesn't really matter what Armada's trying to do because of the level advantage as well over the Arden. Like, everything is stacking up in their favor. You know, they're all infused. We have a level 10 infusion still on Willy, so not the optimal thing. But that was kind of the story for the beginning mid-game. Vainglory stole so much farm that even the damage coming from Celeste wasn't doing much because he was like 2 to 3 levels above her.
One really clutch team fight in the middle of the game where it looked like potentially Phoenix Armada had found a way back in. And Arden, Willy on Arden just walked straight into that Drifting Dark, chasing down Vainglory, gave him that regeneration, and he pulled up that clutch, basically equaling in terms of the deaths in that team fight. It was 2 for 2, and then they built off there towards the end. Vainglory came up big this game, and a game where they really needed him to perform, because arguably he is the star player. He's the guy that can go, you know, absolutely to the roof, or sometimes could not perform as best as he could. They needed him to turn up, and he really did this game.
You know, they technically could have won that mid-game team fight because Flash X actually used his Fountain on the initiation, so they fought the entire thing without Fountain available to him. Thankfully, Best Chuck was so fed on 3 offensive items, he was just running to the back line to kill Celeste, but yeah, I mean, there just wasn't a lot of opportunity for Armada to come back.
There was also another fight where they were fighting in a very narrow channel, and Phoenix were coming down, and then what we saw was they just completely just cut them out with an Impale and then also with the Drifting Dark.
We're into draft phase, ladies and gentlemen. We're into the 4th game of this series. Lyra and Koshka, and look at this. TSM are definitely on the Lance bandwagon right now with Kestrel available. They've gone, we are very happy to first pick Lance.
Yeah, it seems like they think this might be the first step to dismantling Armada. They see how strong Willy is on this hero. Willy says it on stage. It is his favorite hero to play, so they're going to try to roll with it again. It is a best of 7. Got a lot of wiggle room in the series, so why not try to take it away one more time?
But at the very least, TSM are making this incredibly competitive, and they actually looked somewhat dominant against Phoenix Armada there. This actually is shaping up to be this Clash of Titans we fully expected it to be. It just so happens that each game seems to be one swing of the arm. No one really getting the jabs in between. Gonna be Taka locked in here with the Kestrel very early on in the draft, and they haven't even secured a carry right now for TSM. What do you feel about that?
I think it makes it very easy for Team Solo Mid to produce the counters to their 2 carries, because we could ideally see this Lancer or the Catherine, but we're going to be seeing a Rona.
We're going to see a Rona in a very crucial game. The Samuel comes out as well. Fuji, I can see some slight lip movements.
I'm actually watching Flash X here on the other monitor, seeing him smile with what seems like TSM feeling superbly confident with this draft they've set up, because Rona into Taka does a lot of work as long as Taka isn't able to scale. The story of this is yes, I actually think TSM's draft is superior, but only if they can control Mango's aggression and they don't accidentally give up too many kills to Armada's Kestrel.
Absolutely. This is an interesting draft from TSM. They seem confident with it, but can they win? Can they bring this up to level pegging in this grand final of the Vainglory World Championships? To take you through the action, it's AJ and Humanist.
Thank you, man. This is going to be an awesome game. We're seeing the Taka again. We saw like none of it.
Yeah.
All the way up until basically the second semifinals and the finals. Suddenly, it's all over the place. Teams have really been either sleeping on it or hiding it up until this point. But also Rona.
Maybe a little bit of both there as well. It's interesting to see how things develop as you get into the finals.
All right, well, Team Solo Mid, Phoenix Armada, this is game number 4. Team Solo Mid looking to even things out, take this 2-2. Can they manage to upset yet again here? Phoenix Armada, strong favorites on paper coming into this tournament, but a lot of fans backing up Team Solo Mid here. I'm proud.
You know, Phoenix Armada is an incredible team. But I think if anyone underestimated Team Solo Mid, that'd be a major mistake. Coming into this matchup, some of the best players in the world. I really like the draft they've put together here, and I think Fuji's analysis was really on point.
Well, that's going to be a missed impale for Flash X. Vonsy and him trying to get that early aggression down. They're going to find some front camps as a result, though, so at least they're getting something for the trouble.
Yeah, I mean, you think of Taka as an early game hero, but you're going up against a Rona with a Lance, right? So that's not something that you can actually trade with until you actually get around maybe level 2, level 3. You can start to dance in and around these fights. So it's really great to see Vonsy and Flash immediately kind of aggressing onto Phoenix here. And as they get, you know, in and through this game, is Vonsy, he can just get right into these fights, lock down Mango. The damage is immense. When you get into the late game here, I'm not sure what Phoenix can do.
I feel like it's going to be very difficult to get on the backline. Hang on, though. Ooh, active camo from Druid right as he needed it to get out of that one. If Vonsy and Flash X are both running point for Best Chuck NA, how are you going to stop Samuel from just bombarding you from the back lines?
You have to dance like you've never danced before, Jackson. I really think you have to abuse the movement speed coming out of the Taka, the elusiveness that comes out of the Kestrel. If you can do so, I think that's what you have to try and use to your advantage. Also, Willie will be there with the Vanguard, buffing up his allies, and that should help a lot.
Mango does get spotted out by Vonsy here, but Willie is nearby with the Vanguard just to get him out of there. Didn't quite catch who got the camp. I believe it was Mango. The Phoenix Armada not doing too poorly here. No real lead being developed on either side early in this game.
And both teams happy to just go ahead and feel this one out right now. And I wouldn't expect Mango to really start to apply any aggression in and through this jungle or across this map until he gets that Stormguard banner up and running.
Yeah, and you think Mango then is going to be going for the same build that we saw earlier on? Is that the one which gives him the best chance of dealing with someone like Samuel?
It's really tough. He wants to jump onto that Samuel and burst him down, but the thing is you're going to have to deliver Druid there as well. Willie's going to be a big tool to go ahead and do so, but I would expect Mango to at least get in that Stormguard banner. I don't know if he necessarily goes the exact same build that he did before, but it would be to his benefit to complete that item at least.
Here's the synced up shopping coming out from Phoenix Armada. Let's see what he decides to invest in. It's going to be the banner and the boots with an hourglass, probably going towards the crown that we were talking about earlier on. Druid just picks up some more weapon power. Willie making his way towards that fountain. Nothing too surprising. Vonsy is going for the weapon power on the Rona, the typical build that we frequently have Rona's doing. It's been a very unsurprising game so far. In terms of the play, but also, in terms of the movements that these teams are making, they're just playing so much safer than before.
Yeah, they really are. But you see Mango getting aggressive right now.
Oh, he wants Best Chuck NA. Is this going to be first blood?
Yeah,
Easily picked up by Mango, Willie, and Druid. Very strong play when you do hit that power spike to just dive under the turret with Ataka.
Yeah, and Mango able to get into the back here, get this this region off the tree, and a really big deal. Gets one of the backs.
Ooh, Mango taking the second back as well, and he's got backup from Willie too. Makes it difficult for Vainglory to really contest here. This is one of the powers of going for this banner early on. Helps your clear so much, and really helps if you're trying to invade and just quickly take something down and get out.
Yeah, that's exactly why you pick it up. It is so hard to contest the Taka that's in the proper position if you want to try and secure the last hit onto any of these jungle minions. But the thing is, specifically when it comes down to the Treant, if Taka's able to get that, the region that comes out of both the healing out of that camp and also his Kaku is immense, and he can really just snowball right off of that.
All right, well, Team Solo mid, they haven't been able to find the same kinds of openings they did last game, but arguably they're not really looking to, right? They are the slower team out of these two.
Well, what has actually really impressed me is that Vainglory's playing, and it's not really a surprise to see Vainglory, but to see the Rona playing with no fear so early on in this game. And he's just flexing, showing that he knows exactly how he wants to move with this Rona. The scary thing is that as time goes on, she's going to get stronger and stronger. So while we see Mango start to turn it up a little bit here, turn up that aggression, he's going to have to really dial it up through the next 5 minutes of this game to put a pretty significant advantage going the way of Phoenix.
Phoenix, speaking of advantages, have a power spike one right now with Willie picking up a fountain ahead of Flash. Flash is moving down. It's going to be a short-lived power spike. But Phoenix is one of those teams, whenever you see just that small edge, right, that they have, you expect maybe they're going to try and abuse it.
Yeah, of course. And the thing is, it's also knowledge that you have to get. Do you expose yourself to the enemy? Do you hide and not let yourself be revealed? If you don't let the power spikes in the items, that knowledge go to your opponent, it's a really big deal. Of course, TSM know exactly what's happening right now. Mango, Storm Crown completed as well. Everything's starting to come together.
And Phoenix want to utilize that with Mango now moving up to the mustache. Finds Flash there. Flash going back right to his turret. You can see with just the poke that Druid put down, it does force TSM into a bit of an awkward position. They gotta play very safe under their turret. One shot even, just to harass them.
Yeah, just coming out right there, full adrenaline for Druid, and Druid sitting 70 last at 6 minutes into this game.
Thinking about going in there, you saw him actually speed forward with the boots. Red Mist popped immediately. Basically doesn't get anything before that.
It's pretty funny. When I've noticed, like, over the course of this whole tournament, sometimes when we watch these teams engage, it almost feels like the game is sped up, just because how fast these players are all reacting, and it's just really nice to see. You know, Vainglory, he goes in there with that Red Mist immediately out of the fray once he realizes that he's gone too far, and that's exactly what he needs to be doing.
I mean, I like the fact that he tried, though, because with just seeing the rotation of Phoenix, there could be an expectation that maybe one of them had rotated back to get their back camps, which was exactly what had happened. So it was smart, it was very cerebral from Team to call for that gank. But Phoenix, they responded very nicely to it. They've got good control of vision, really stacking 5 flares right now. They want some more. Gauntlet comes down, but Best Chuck just barely makes it out of that one. One shot does connect. Again, full adrenaline stacks, really maybe just hits the turret.
Yeah, he's doing a pretty good job thus far, chunking through.
Gotta be careful. I don't know if you really want to walk into this one trying to get the camp away from Mango right now. Who's going to take it? It is going to be Vainglory with the Red Mist, in fact. That could be bad news for Willie, with Vainglory now having that advantage. Might want to go for this. Actually, Druid and Mango thinking about going for Best Chuck, but they can't quite go that deep.
I can't believe you just told Vainglory to be careful, Jackson. He's going to get in there. He's going to get that regen. He's in a pretty bad place right now, though.
He is, but he's building up that fury. He wants to go for the Red Mist, and everyone is stacked on top of him. So much damage coming out from Vainglory right now. That's the Oblivion flying back. It sleeps Mango. He cannot help out Druid. Druid goes down. Willie on the run. Willie, is he going to be able to get out of this one? It does not look like it. Team Solo mid find themselves 2 kills for 0.
Yeah, Willie, he can't get out of that one. Of course, Mango able to get out, but it was really nice Oblivion coming out of Best Chuck. Sometimes you want to throw it right into the mix of where that fight's happening, just disrupt, but they knew if they could just sleep that Taka, that's exactly what they needed.
Mango actually just going in for the love tap on Best Chuck and A there. Flash going to dissuade him from doing anything further. Phoenix Armada, they are marginally behind in gold as a result of that earlier fight. They haven't lost their turret yet. Nothing too big has happened. They are dealing with Taka's aggression like we wanted to see a little bit better from Team Solo mid.
Yeah, I really like it. Vainglory, has done such a good job, and Flash just pairing up with Vonsi's Rona, they just stick together so incredibly well that Vainglory, he can just kind of dance around this Lance. He waits for the impales, the Githian wall to follow through, and just lock one of these targets down and go from there. I think they've done a great job thus far. As they start to scale through this mid-game, though, things are going to start to get really scary for Phoenix. And I don't know at one moment, but it feels like in the next couple of minutes, they really need to dial it up.
Well, Mango thinking of dialing up right now. That's the X-Red forward. I'm not quite sure what he hit there. Maybe a minion, actually. Druid does get stunned up in the gauntlet. They find the active camo onto Flash. They're getting some good damage down. Mango wants this one X-Red forward yet again, but it's not going to be enough. Phoenix, they can't quite do the same level of damage as early as they would like. We've seen from them earlier in the series. Vainglory wants back in the fight. There's the red disc, but so much damage coming out of Druid and Mango. 3-person sleep coming in from Best Chuck. Not going to be enough. Mango looking to see X-Retsu perhaps onto Flash. Eats a lot of damage from his Analysis Verdict, so Phoenix maybe not able to capitalize off that play. Oh, Glimmer Shot!
Yeah, that's right. A lot of damage coming through there. I think Vainglory maybe overestimating his survivability, underestimating the damage that could come out of Phoenix.
He might be looking for Mango here. Mango really needs to be careful.
Well, he's looking for Mango.
Yeah.
He might be able to find him.
Mango is able to get away for now. So taking stock of the game, about a 1,000 gold lead to Phoenix. No turrets yet. This is a much, much slower pace than we're used to.
Yeah, and it's no surprise, though. Honestly, when we get into these tournaments and we're here at Worlds, this is the biggest stage thus far for Vainglory. So these teams, it's natural that they want to play safe here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, winning the very first World Championship would be such a big title for these guys to get. Phoenix, they've been viewed as one of the top teams in the world for a long time now. They finally have the chance to prove that. Team Solo Mid in the exact same boat. It's all about the pride and the prize pool.
The pride and the prize pool right there. Yeah, exactly. Aftershock completed for Mango, so he's starting to come into his own. You see Druid, just a fresh infusion.
Oh, Vainglory, look at the amount of damage he immediately takes as Mango jumps forward with that Aftershock and Storm Crown. He's really just able to get in there and just burst someone, set up for Druid to follow through.
Yeah, he's done a great job thus far. That's exactly what they need to do. Gold Miner. Looked like Flash wanted to contest that. Doesn't get in there, though. Nice Malice and Verdict from Best Chuck.
Yeah, he's just going to be stopping Phoenix from committing for any kills. Mango going for a little bit more invading now. With that Storm Crown, he can get in, get out very, very fast. It's hard for Team Solo Mid to react. Mango wants some more. That's going to be the Gauntlet stun on the Best Chuck. Flash the main target, though. He goes down. Oblivion not going to connect with anyone. This should be a turret for Phoenix, and they want more. Mango going on to Best Chuck NA. Look at the burst. He is able to kite back just a little bit. Druid trying to find some glimmer shots. Hasn't got one shot for a few seconds, though, and I'm not sure it's enough damage to take anyone down. That's going to be a pop. Hits the turret. Mango, again going in, has the shield from the Vanguard before he even jumps, just to make sure any turnaround isn't there. Vainglory does get some good damage, but it's 2 turrets now for Phoenix Armada. That was a devastating push.
And let's see if CSM... Yeah, they're not going to be able to catch anybody out here. It does not look like, but Mango's regoosing.
Mango doesn't need them to catch him out. He's going to be going back onto them. Vainglory jumps in just to immediately faceplant and die.
Wow.
That's another kill on the Best Chuck. Flash has been routed, trying to run away. Mango wants more. Reflex block as he jumps in to stop that Githian wall. Flash, I don't think he's going to get out of this one. Great Githian wall at the last second, though. Might be enough. Mango, I don't think he's going to be able to get there. Oh, he got it! Can't get away, but does he mind? It's an ace. That's buff minions. That's a turret.
I don't think he minds at all. We talked about this just a couple minutes ago, that Phoenix were going to look to dial up the aggression. I think that might have been an understatement. We're going to see this breakdown in the replay here. TSM aggressing a little too far. The problem is they don't keep track of Mango. Mango is in there. Druid's able to blow Vainglory up, and then they just traced from there. Flash really not able to do anything to save his allies. Quite a problem. And Jackson, I think it's kind of a similar story that we saw before. Mango's diving under these turrets, especially the tier 1 turret. But it's predictable because he's been doing that in the previous games. So they really, I said it before, I'm not going to harp on it more, but get a scout trap down in the position that he's rotating from. Vainglory was actually rotating from the same angle in this last game that TSM were able to win.
I've got to admit, it does seem to be happening again and again. We've now got a broken myth on Mango. A lot of these fights have actually been quite extended just because he's hunting people down after they initially get like one pick. This is going to make this that much easier. Mango thinking of going in if that one shot hit. He's going to back away. Oh, he's going to commit now. Vainglory, the main target. Look at how much damage he takes immediately, but Mango needs to back away. Fountain pop by Willie. Active camo from Druid. Finds a beautiful stun. Oblivion onto Best Chuck. Mango dodges it with the Kai-10. He has the perfect timing to keep the pressure on. Glimmer shots over the wall. Mango with the X-Retsu to lock in the kill. It's another 2 for Phoenix Armada. They can't pick up the ace, but they're going to be getting all of these back camps.
Yeah, they're going to get all of these backs. One of the biggest, I want to point out a couple things here. Now, Vainglory, he pops his infusion right as that fight starts. One of the worst things that can happen to you in a game at any point is you pop an infusion and go down without getting anything out of it. That hurts so bad. And honestly, though, if Vainglory did not get stunned up by that active camo from Druid, I think the fight goes completely in the reverse direction. I was sitting there thinking TSM are ready to take a fight, but Druid just absolutely perfect play.
Yeah, it really was. He knew the flow of the fight. He knew what Team Solo Mid were going to try and do before they even tried to do it. He knew he'd be a focus as soon as Mango disappeared from the action. This is one of the problems with the Rona. We actually talked about this earlier on when we were in the semifinals game, me and Sona, how picking the Rona into the Kestrel can really backfire, especially if you're not able to reflex block that first active camo when you initially commit.
Yeah, it's a really big deal. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, you don't exactly realize that active camo is down. I'm not sure if it was a mechanical thing or if Vainglory just didn't actually see it. But right now, it's a desperate situation. We're going to have Kraken spawning out onto the map. One of the items just picked up was the Shiver Steel for Willie. I really like this. Between this and the War Tread, they're going to stick on any target.
This is Deja Vu. Humanist Mango from the same position, trying to go in, trying to get onto Best Chuck and A. The damage is there on Vainglory yet again. Druid trying to find that stun. Can he get it? Not this time. Vainglory plays around the active camo much better. Mango wants more though. He goes for Best Chuck. Druid's not even dead right now.
Oh,
Team
man.
Phoenix pick up another 2. Flash maybe escapes this one, but regardless, it's going to be a Kraken for Phoenix Armada.
It feels like all of Phoenix have the ability to go invisible. Of course, it's just the Kestrel and the Taka, but Willie's doing such a good job of just catapulting his team into the proper position. You also have to think TSM just not expecting Mango to be there. They do flare this out, but immediately the gauntlet down. Best Chuck starts getting lit up, but Vainglory, he tries to get in there. He throws that red mist down, but he realizes he can't kite back as fast as Druid's doing. He gets blown up. Mango just dancing around this fight. You see the crits coming out there. Just nothing the Best Chuck can do.
Honestly, the craziest thing about that fight for me is that Mango wasn't actually in it for the vast majority. Druid and Willie just kited back whilst Mango went around the wall above the jungle.
Well, I mean,
came all the way back in.
The thing with the red mist, right? Like, you're slow. You really want to have those boots active. But the problem is, Vainglory's just sitting there spinning. Druid uses his boots, kites backwards, really nice stutter stepping. It bought time for Mango to dance in and out of the fight. It's perfect.
Speaking of dancing into the fight, Mango thinking about going in with that gauntlet out of Willie. Best Chuck and A, very low health already. The Oblivion not able to do very much work. Druid stunned up a little bit, but all the aggression is on the other side of the fight. Vainglory, look at that
Nice
AoE
Gideon
damage
wall.
though. That red mist did so much work. Gideon wall actually keeps them away from Vainglory though. Flash might be regretting that one as Willie could go down, but Phoenix Armada are just kiting Vainglory back. Glimmer shots coming across. Mango hunting him down. Vainglory does use Enter the Fray to get over the wall. He's trying to recall. Mango, he sees him because of the scout trap. It's an ace
That
for
just
Phoenix
happened.
Armada. And take a look in the base because Kraken is going to work on those turrets. Phoenix Armada could well end things here, Humanist.
Yeah, this looks like game, Jackson. This ended so much faster. Once it all came together, it ended so much faster than I actually expected. They're going to be on their last stand here.
All right, Phoenix Armada, they're just doing cleanup duty right now, picking up the Vayne Crystal and their 3rd win in the Grand Finals. Phoenix Armada are 1 win away from being the first ever Vainglory World Champions.
You could see on this player cam the moment that Willie realized that the fight was won for them. There's this just sigh of relief coming out of his team. These guys are hyped up. 1 game away, as you said. How good does it feel to be a Phoenix fan right now?
Pretty darn good, but on the flip side for TSM, they need to reverse sweep at this point, and that is such a challenge. It's a best of 7, so they actually need to get 3 more wins in a row. That is just a very difficult task. Maybe they can do it. They've shown some glimmers of hope. Let's see what our analysts think as we head into our next game.
It looks like Phoenix Armada found another gear to shift into, even with the Lance off their side. TSM looked at C, Rona not working out 100% for them. Some micro mistakes from Von C potentially, costing his ability to start that red mist churning in a team fight, especially well played by Druid to time the active camo so easily.
Well, when I mentioned earlier, I saw Flash smiling because it felt like they had a good draft, but at the same time, in the Velocity matchup they had earlier, the Rona into the Kestrel Arden just did not work, so I was a little confused at why Rona was the priority there. You just saw that every single time Von C tried to go in, he was stunned up, or he had to run around and take so much free damage while he's trying to get out of the zone control of that active camouflage. But I love the fact that Armada went back with a melee jungler, one of these assassin types like a Glaive Ataka or a Koshka. It's where Mango seems to thrive, and it actually made Arden empowered again. Willie all of a sudden showed up big with this composition.
Well, you were talking about the micro play of Phoenix Armada, and I also want to talk about the macro play, because normally when we've been seeing Mango's Taka, he gets the Stormguard banner, doesn't progress into Stormcrown straight away, but this time he did, and I think that just shows a shift. They were focusing more on getting the early objectives, getting the early gold lead in that way, and it actually worked out tremendously. For the first 7 minutes of the game, there was nothing happening, 0-0, no turrets were taking, but the moment he got the Stormcrown, they just focused on the turret, and it worked superbly.
Yeah, this Stormcrown focus allowed them to A, take away those back camps consistently from TSM, and like Xingyi said, just go for those turrets time and time again. Now, this could be the final game of Vainglory Worlds. If Phoenix Armada win here, they beat TSM 4-1 and they take the title away from them. How huge could that be for us to crown, our Vainglory World champions within the next half an hour? Let's have a look at this quick replay. I think this is just TSM overextending.
This is exactly what we had mentioned. Von C tries to go in, tries to get some damage down, but he just gets completely obliterated. I mean, Mango on the back line with the Storm Crowns dealing true damage to everybody. He's able to get cooldowns quicker with the Aftershock and the Storm Crown combined. So we just impressively see Phoenix not just get a lead, but they increase their gold lead steadily for the entire game. They never seem to plateau on a lead, which is a really another impressive strategic skill set that they have as a team.
So, like I said, we could crown our champions, our world champions here within the next game. It could be Phoenix Armada from Korea. Not only do they have the prize pool of $120,000, of which they take the lion's share, I have been told there is a special prize for the winners to be immortalized in a 3D print here at the Chinese Theatre to celebrate the first eSports event that they've had here, to be out on front and display. They'll scan the players, they'll 3D print them in a trophy, and it'll be out on display, the winning team. What an honor to be essentially immortalized here at the TSC Chinese Theatre. It is a huge, huge honor for them, as well as crowning yourselves the best Vainglory team in the world. Now, North America are not out of it yet. We've seen weirder things happen in competitive Vainglory. Phoenix Armada, though, are on the brink.
Yep, well, as we head into draft here, we're going to have to see what is the last trick TSM might hold up their sleeve in order to win this. They're not winning the mechanical outplays when the draft goes in favor of Armada, so they need to be very careful. I do like the Koshka ban once again. I think she should be permanently taken out of the equation. But now there's a lot of things left. Do you think they take Lance? They take Kestrel? Where do you think they go?
I think there's actually a move for, well, go for the Taka again, actually.
Yeah, I was thinking this. I mean, I would not be too surprised to potentially see a Taka, but no, you could tell they were thinking about it. You could tell there was a thought process going on in their mind, and it's going to be the Kestrel locked in. It's going to be Gwen and Lance responded here. Does this make Taka harder for Team Phoenix, or are they just going to lock that in?
I actually like the Taka here a lot more. Last time they went with the Celeste, but as soon as I see Gwen, I thought, Taka has worked well in the past into this pick. It gives them a lot more flexibility, and it's not predictable. The thing that makes Armada so strong with this Taka is you don't know where he is. Celeste is not that mobile.
You also have to consider the Gwen using her buckshot. She can reveal the Taka, but so far we've seen Mango. He's been
Whoa!
very... Oh, Petal!
Right when it comes down to it, TSM lock in the Petal. It's had mixed success here at the World Championships. But guys, can we get some noise? This could be the final game of the Vainglory World Championships. We could crown our winner after this. It is going to be huge. Give it up as I hand over to AJ and Humanist.
Oh my word, Scoundrel. We have a pedal in what could be our final game of the World Championship this year. Could be final, but Team Solo Mid, maybe they can make this pedal work. Maybe they can come with that reverse sweep with this new pick that we've only seen, I think, one game of at Worlds.
Well, I'm glad you confirmed. I wasn't sure if I was seeing things, but that is indeed a pedal coming out here.
All right, Phoenix Armada are one win away from winning the World Championship. Woo! Make some noise for Phoenix Armada and Team Solo Mid. All right, Humanist. Let's talk about this pedal pick a little bit because we got to get to it at some point.
Let's talk about
Von
it.
C, he's picked it up. He's known for doing some of the crazier stuff in the jungle, but we've seen his work against Snow Avalanche.
Let me just say, some of the worst Taka games I've ever had have been when there's a pedal on the other team. These Munions will chase you down when you go into your stealth if they've already been targeted onto you. It can be incredibly difficult to deal with here. Mango is going to have to be elusive, use the element of surprise, and when they go in to engage, they're going to have to absolutely burst one of these targets down.
Yeah, and in addition to that, it's something which we've seen talked about, or rather heard talked about, as a counter to Kestrel, but we've seen so little of, even though Kestrel has been doing so well at Worlds. Now, I find that quite interesting. Maybe they just wanted to save it for when it really mattered. It matters a lot right now as Team Solo Mid think about going in for an early jungle trade. Mango actually moving aggressively onto Von C. Flash, he's going to have that impale up in 4 seconds. 2 for the Githian wall. Mango's got to be careful, but here comes Druid with the rotate. Flash, maybe he just wants to try and pick up the kill by himself. He wants that first blood, but a great Kaiten out of Mango. Things not looking good in this fight for Team Solo Mid. 2 kills to kick off this game for Phoenix Armada.
Yeah, that just was not the engage that they were looking for. I like the aggression out of TSM, but if you're going to let the Taka get onto the pedal without doing enough damage right there, that's exactly what Taka wants to do. You want the Munions in front of you, you want the pedal always at range, and that's just not what happened there.
Look at this. That fight was all the way on the side of Phoenix's jungle. They go all the way for the back camps of Team Solo Mid. Is this going to bite them as Best Chuck rotates down, pops that potion? He needs some energy. Von C is looking to get in there, but he just can't do enough yet. Trampling forward, he's finding some good damage onto Druid. Are those Munions going to hunt him down? Active camo. They'll hunt the Kestrel just like they'll hunt the Taka. Look at this. Von C nearly picks up the kill. Mango's low. Willie's low. Mango, he's going to need to do some incredible jukes here with Akaku. He's got 5 seconds to wait. Kaiten buys some time into the bush, into the other bush, which is revealed by Best Chuck. There's the Kaku. He's just waiting
nice
around
flare.
in the middle. Look at this TSM. They play on all sides to try and get him there. Can't get away. That's Team Solo Mid finding one more kill. Druid does need to be a little bit careful about trying to go for a trade here. Flash, if he finds the impale, could be followed up. Best Chuck wants some damage. That's the Githian wall too. Druid, he's going to be forced back to the turret. A lot of action in this critical game.
A lot of action indeed. And that's exactly what Pedal wants. If your opponents realize that they need to run away, it is not going to happen here. Your Munions are going to be constantly attacking. You can trampoline forward. Pedal is a very mobile hero, and I think often underestimated in those types of situations. But you saw they could chase, and it's so hard to get away from them.
All right, let's talk about builds real quick. Von C is going Crystal Pedal. This is the more traditional build. I know.
I was going to die if I saw a weapon pedal.
You said
come
you
out
were
here.
not going to be happy. Don't worry, we're all good. No tilt for the finals. Druid and Mango both have some weapon power so far. We've also got that banner on Mango. Looks like he's going for the same kind of thing we've seen the past couple of times he's done it.
No surprise there.
Is this going to be especially effective because you want to kill the Munions quite? Oh, hang on a second. That's a 2-man. Root Flash. Does he have a good Githian wall here? Not quite yet, but Druid is still going to go down. Von C's Munions just attack so quick right now. They just rip through him.
I just can't get over this. Like, when your tournament life is on the line and the pedal comes out here, this is just so wonderful. I love the confidence that's coming out of Team Solo Mid with this pick. It's just such a beautiful thing. They've done a great job. I'm really curious to see if Von C does go for a Frostburn to start things off here, if he gets into a Shatterglass. I think there's a case to be said for both. I think Frostburn would be really good for his team.
I think Frostburn first in this game in the grand finals
Repeat that, please?
would be the right decision. We'll see if he decides to go for it. Of course, the reason why it's so strong on a pedal, and maybe not other things, is the fact that those Munions apply it and they attack so rapidly, you're basically just constantly slowing someone. The percentage matters a little bit less when they never have an opportunity to get away.
Yeah, and it feeds into that idea that we were talking about before. It's like, once your opponents realize that they need to get out of the fight, Petal's so good at chasing, the Frostburn just feeds into that whole aspect.
Absolutely. Right now, Vainglory doing quite good this game, 2 for 1 with around 30 farm. Team Solo Mid as a whole, about 1,000 gold in the lead. Willie and Druid trying to harass Bestchuck as much as possible, maybe mitigate some of that lead in the lane. Vainglory has something to say about that.
Level
Moving
6.
forward onto Willie. Not going to land from Flash, though. Willie should be able to back away.
Yeah, Willie doing a good job to get out of there. And this is Mango in his own jungle doing a pretty good job securing up. That's a pretty full rotation unless the mid's going to get stolen away. It will be contested.
Flash and Vainglory might be able to pick this one up. The Impale actually lands onto Mango, and Vainglory uses one of his spontaneous combustion charges to lock in that camp. Druid was
Smart
waiting.
call, Vainglory.
Vainglory, don't do it.
That's not your bush.
Don't do it. Don't go in the bush. He's going to get stunned up. Druid wants the fight. Flash X, thankfully, is able to give Vainglory a little bit of space there. He's able to back away. That was close, Humus. It was very close.
You can see Vainglory, he wanted to just face check it right away, but hey, he is adapting to this game. That's exactly what it needs to do. Fountain comes out for the Lance. Frostburn completed for the Petal. These are some really nice power spikes. When you're playing this Petal, there's a couple of the early game power spikes you're looking for. If you do decide to go for this Frostburn route, huge item pickup for you. Also hitting the level 6, spontaneous combustion. For you guys that don't see too much Petal, this is healing your team and dealing damage to your enemies. It is such a versatile tool.
It really can create massive swings in a team fight, and a big part of why that's strong isn't just because it's a swing, but because your opponents don't necessarily expect it, especially now on the updated Petal, where you do each one of your spontaneous combustions individually.
Right.
You can really mess with their timings by actually having a good understanding of when to use it. Right now, though, both teams have maybe been a little bit deterred from fighting after the last couple of exchanges. They were very back and forth. They're both playing much safer than they were right as we kicked this game off.
You can see what this Petal has done to Mango. His aggression is just absolutely gone. There's nothing that he can do here unless he jumps from full surprise. If TSM have any idea where this talk is approaching from, all they have to do is sick the Munions on him, and he has to retreat.
Absolutely. Items that have now been completed since we last talked are, of course, those Sara Blades across the board for Bestchuck and Druid. Mango, he's got a Storm Crown now. Where would you go endgame as a build from Mango here? Because we've seen, again, a few things. We've seen, like, the Aftershock. We've seen a lot of proc damage coming out of him. Is that still the right plan? Do you just want to jump in and, like, burst the Petal?
I want to see a Shatterglass out of him this game. I really want to see huge, massive burst. I want to see him get on top of Vainglory, apply that Mortal Wound, and just go to town. I don't know if that's the route he's going to go. It looks like it's not, but I'm sure this will be just fine for Mango. Obviously, phenomenal player.
Yeah, it does look like he's actually thinking about the Aftershock. Something I've noticed is that Mango's Taka play is like the whole hit and run thing to an extreme that we sometimes do not see. Bestchuck, hang on. That's a lot of damage. He's got to back away a little bit. It's hit and run to an extreme we do not normally see. He'll go in with the next Retsu just to apply the bleed, peace out for a bit, and come back later.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. The hit and run, it often works for Taka, but this is Petal. If you go in, Petal just has to sit
Willie.
buckets.
He's getting rooted. That's the aces high. He had no chance to get out of there. Phoenix Armada, their face check and pushes just like Team Solo Mid was doing earlier. Mango trying to get the poke down. He doesn't expect the damage, though. That's going to be another 2 for Team Solo Mid. They find the turret as well. Bestchuck playing with fire there. There's a one-shot. No.
Not quite, but of course, Druid pretty close on that one. Tier 1 turret's going to go down here, Jackson. We're approaching 9 minutes into this game. Only 6 kills across the board. A small net worth lead going the way of Team Solo Mid. But it's pretty safe to say they're in control of this game right now.
You know, I wonder if saving the Petal for the Grand Finals was some master plan because they knew Casper was popular, and they were like, we're really good, we're going to be able to deal with it up until this point. And then when we really can't anymore and no one expects it, we've had this planned all along. Well, this is how we're going to deal with Kestrel.
It's a double win for them. She's good into the Kestrel, but she's also amazing into the Taka. This is just a double win.
Absolutely is. That's going to be the breaking point for Druid. He's expecting these longer fights. We've seen a variety of builds out of our Kestrels at the tournament so far. Some Crystal, some of the Critical Strike build with the Tyrant's Monocle, some with his Breaking Point. Do you think Breaking Point is the correct avenue in this game?
I think Breaking Point will be okay, especially when you have this Lance that wants to constantly frontline for his team. You can just stack up, switch to one of the key targets, and if you can be in communication with your Taka, that's how you're going to get your first damage down.
Mango eating that scout trap. One shot, one kill.
Whoa,
Nearly
that was
takes
close.
that down. Flash X with a nice Scythian wall to back him off. Active camo. Von C knows it's there. He's taking a decent amount of poke. Here comes the gauntlet. Mango really wants Von C right now, but there's the fountain. Team Solo mid. They regenerate up a little bit, back off. Phoenix Armada can't find the fight they were looking for.
Yeah, Von C almost making a mistake, getting in there a little too aggressively. Of course, not completely punished for it. But right now, Phoenix know that that fountain is on cooldown. So if they want to get aggressive, try to make a play. This is a great opportunity.
It is indeed. And speaking of opportunities, Druid has picked up a weapon infusion around 10.5 minutes into the game. If he pops it now, it's only as effective as level 8 allows it to be, but it could be the power spike they need to upset a fight.
It definitely could be, and I like this. I like this a lot. You know, one of the players we see doing this almost more than anyone, of course, in the NA scene, Zio. And he helps. It helps us when you're ahead. It'll help you snowball. When you're behind and things aren't going your way, it'll help you stall out that aggression, get yourself right back into the game. I think it's a really nice item that you can just pick up, hold on to, and if the moment calls for it, you pop that infusion.
All right, speaking of other power spikes, Willie, during that discussion, picked up a Crucible, Mango, and Aftershock. So they do have a lot more power behind them itemization-wise than they had in the previous engagement. And actually, they came quite close to bursting down Von C. This time, maybe they have that damage if they find the opportunity. Von C hasn't exactly itemized further defensively.
Well, Von C was about a mile away from his team. That shouldn't have been the case. But yeah, they almost did take him down. And this will be a total help.
Von C is going to be checking that push, does eat only a little bit of damage though as Mango takes the majority of it. That forces the fountain out of Willie. Look at Mango's health, just barely getting away by the skin of his teeth there. TSM might think about committing for this. Druid does get impaled, the reflex block not enough. All there as
They
well.
still have their own
Ace
fountain.
high. That's the power of the Gwen. The ultimate follow-up stun. Team Solo mid find a pick and a turret.
Yeah, Team Solo mid, this is a beautiful performance out of them thus far.
Gauntlet does land on the best Chuck.
That was a gauntlet.
That was a gauntlet.
That was a gauntlet. That's going to be on cooldown for a while, and TSM have to know that they can just apply more pressure across the map now. This is a major tool for Phoenix that really feels kind of wasted there. I don't think there was a major reason to pull that out there, but Von C, he's done a great job. Now, we talked about the infusion. Druid did pop his own infusion, but Best Chuck, who is ahead in this game, has his own infusion.
He does indeed, and I believe he picked that one up earlier on as well, so he didn't feel the need to pop it, and that's a good amount of discipline coming out of him, not just to automatically do it. It means he can save it for now, which is when he pops it. Von C, he picked up a Broken Myth. Team Solo mid looking incredibly strong this game. It does seem like a very back-and-forth, blow-for-blow series between these teams, but Team Solo mid right now, they've never had as much reason to play well. They're one loss away from being eliminated from the World Championship. They do not want to go home.
Yeah, and especially, you know, Flash, on his video, he said Team Solo mid are going to be the champions, right? There was no hesitation in that statement from him. To be down in this series, I'm sure he's absolutely working his hardest here to pull his team back into the series, and they're doing a great job thus far.
Oh, Mango. Gotta be careful about getting caught out here. That is the active camera stun on Von C, though. Some good damage. Mango finds the execute. Best Chuck, he's kiting backwards. Ace is high, blocked by Druid. Flash with a good Githian, but Best Chuck just needs to leave. That's the skedaddle popped. He's trying to get away here. Willie does not have Gauntlet still after that engagement earlier on. Does allow Team Solo mid to manage their losses from that fight.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Exactly what Phoenix needs to do. They want to burst pedal down immediately at the beginning of the fight. That's how you're going to do it. You don't let Von C get onto you with the Munions, start to just chase you down, be annoying, get all that work in. Von C, he walked into that active camo. He's on 50% health. That's the easiest call of Mango's life, to just jump in and delete him out of the game.
Druid now has his Aegis, and that's going to be massive too, because Von C is doing so much crystal damage right now. Druid definitely wants to be able to deal with that. He wants to be able to pop into his active camo and not just die to Munions. Normally, when you pop an active camo, you get that breather.
Right.
Against the pedal, sometimes you're not going to. So I like the fact that he's itemizing the shield quite early on. Best Chuck, of course, still going to be doing good damage to him, however. We've got Kraken coming up in a minute. Team Solo mid, they've got advantage on the map. Can they force one to really start putting the pressure on Phoenix's base?
Well, I don't think forcing the fight is what they really want to do here. They have an advantage. I think just take the fight on your terms, continuously apply pressure. You're in control right now. And if anything, they can just chip on this turret a little bit, wait for them to dive you.
Some nice damage with the one-shot, one-kill onto Von C. You saw Willie actually pop his boots cooldown just because he's being attacked by Munions, and the Frostburn, with as much crystal power as Vainglory has right now, is slowing him so much. They do know what's going on. Phoenix know where Team Solo Mid are, so if they wanted to go in, they could. They're choosing not to for the time being.
It's like between the Frostburn and the Buckshot coming out of this Gwyn, there is so much slow. Phoenix, if they are seen at all, it's like they're moving through maple syrup. Shout out to Forecourt Jester on that one. It's really tough though, and so the element of surprise is everything. They need to strike just all at once. If they can do so, they will be able to take this.
Well, Team Solo Mid all at once going to be starting up the Kraken is the reaction here that Phoenix Armada needs. Already Kraken taking a decent amount of his health, but Willie making his way Flash, not land that Impale. Gotta watch out for that Aces High here. Best Chuck can throw it from so far away. He can really catch you out. Here it goes on to Willie. That's not the best target though. Druid, he's trying to kite backwards. The fountain has been popped. Mango does some good damage. He's going for that hit and run. Backing off right now. Druid is impaled though. Flash hits it. Druid, he goes down. Mango cannot get away. Team Solo Mid, with their backs against their wall, are finding the strength to carry on in the grand finals.
Finding the strength that they had all along. What a wonderful fight for Team Solo Mid. They did exactly what they needed to do here. And you see Phoenix, they feel like they need to make a play, but that Aces High canceling off the gauntlet. Willie trying to frontline for his team, throws at that fountain, but gets shot down. They try to focus on the Mango, but quickly switch back to Willie. That Impale very nicely holding Druid in place. A double kill for Best Chuck, who had, at the end of this fight, I think, 20 stacks on that breaking point. Just so much damage.
Honestly, right now, the carries from Team Solo Mid are close to untouchable. And it's really difficult when you have a Taka to do anything in that situation. You need to be able to get onto the backline. Kraken goes away with Team Solo Mid.
Well, like, even if you get onto the backline, Vainglory is doing such a good job hanging out right where Flash is on this lance that Vainglory is waiting. He's holding this trampoline, and Flash can just get the end wall, and then Vainglory trampolines into a better position, and they're doing this rinse and repeat over and over again. It's working incredibly well.
Alright, we do have a Tyrant's Monocle now for Druid. He's got an Infusion too. Phoenix Armada are gearing up for what could be the last stand for them in this game. In their base, the Kraken is making his way down the lane. Team Solo Mid, how do they need to play this fight to take home the victory?
Well, you're going to have to wait until Vainglory allows himself to get in position and
engage.
engage.
That's a good gauntlet, does connect, but Best Chuck has the skedaddle. Aces High not going to land. See, Team Solo Mid has been forced backwards, at least for the time being. Phoenix just trying to deal with the Kraken too. The problem is it's still very healthy. Druid doing a lot of damage on the backline. Mango jumping in. He finds the first kill. Best Chuck got to be the next target here for the Kraken. You've got to pick one. You've got to stop the base from falling. Flash and Best Chuck want a little bit more though. That's the block. It comes through. Best Chuck goes down. It is going to be a defense from Phoenix Armada unless Flash can somehow take down the Vayne Crystal. He doesn't even want to try it. I do not blame him.
He's pulling
with
a Willie
everything
here.
On the line. Team Solo Mid back away after killing every single turret on Phoenix's side of the map.
Yeah, TSM, a successful push here. They've done a great job. But Phoenix, how did they find that kill? It was Vainglory revealing himself in the front of that fight. He took a Glimmer shot, maybe 2 Glimmer shots. Once that happens, it's very easy for Mango to get in there and find that kill. As far as the positioning in these fights, I would much rather have Best Chuck slightly ahead and Vainglory right behind him, but these guys are doing a great job.
They are, and now with the advantage they've accrued, Team Solo Mid only need to push into the base and maybe find 1 kill to actually end this game. The onus is really on Phoenix right now to put up an incredible defense if they want to win this World Championship this game. They need great vision for a start.
Look at the vision. Talk about the vision.
Scout traps picked up by Willie on his return home. I don't blame him.
I criticized Flash in the earlier matches for not having enough vision across the map. He's like, you want vision? You're going to get some vision.
Yeah, and Flash actually picking up the contraption this time, +5 flares. He's got a lot of ability to make sure that Phoenix don't do anything sneaky, perhaps with the stealth coming out of the Taka and the Kestrel. TSM, when is their next opportunity? Would you like them to wait all the way to Kraken, or would you like them to sort of poke the defenses of Phoenix, see if they can maybe just get in there right now?
I think there's no reason to force it, but if the opportunity presents itself, you take it, you end the game. Otherwise, you just hang out, make sure that you do have this vision in and around that Kraken pit. I mean, it's GG if Kraken gets taken with this composition, the way they're playing it right now. There's no reason to actually force the fight.
All right, well, you can see Willie acting as a bit of a scout trap for his team on the front line, spots out the push from Team Solo Mid. They're definitely thinking, can we just run in here? Can we sacrifice maybe 1 person, pick up the Vayne Crystal? Emotions have to be running high in this moment as they look at elimination from Worlds if they lose this game. Phoenix now actually in pursuit, thinking maybe we can pick off a straggler. Team Solo Mid, thankfully for them, they are able to back away.
This is what I feel like TSM want to bait Phoenix into doing, and the re-goose is what Team Solo Mid want to do.
Oh, here comes Team Solo Mid. They think they smell blood. That's going to be the stun on the Willy. Mango on the back line, though, trying to find Von C. Fountain popped by Flash. Is it going to be enough? No. Von C, he goes down. Best Chuck still healthy, but here comes Mango. Yet again, he finds the kill. Phoenix, they're making a comeback right now, Humanist. They find 2. They can't go for Flash, but maybe they can push down this turret.
It was really nicely done by Phoenix. That's exactly what they needed to do. Flash is going to be able to find the kill here. Dangerous situation.
Oh, Druid. Watch yourself, buddy. The Impale picks up the kill. Mango actually stunned into the wall, too. Flash looking for more. The turret canon's pretty big. Githian wall doesn't find the stun, but Flash still wants more Mango right now. The fruit bar here on the forward. Mango trying to get out. He does manage to make it, just barely. Flash should not be able to chase this too much further.
Did Flash realize he's not a carry in that moment there?
Mango tried to back it. Yeah, I mean, I think Flash, props for that. A big thing that I think Druid might have made a mistake about is timing it so that he died 15 seconds away from Willy. What happens if Team Solo Mid just rush Kraken right now?
Well, that's probably what they're going to do. I want to talk about the Shatter Glass, though, Jackson. The Shatter coming out on Flash means that the disables are going to be immense when he lands any of these abilities onto Phoenix. And this is exactly what his team needs. The Gwyn and, of course, this Petal are going to be able to take advantage of this.
All right, Flash prematurely going for that Impale, wants to make sure that there's no way Phoenix can steal this Kraken. They're going for the slow into Willy. Von C just annihilating him. We do have Druid back, and Von C jumps right into the fight. So much burst damage coming out from Druid. Mango, he wants back in. He kitens over. Von C stuck in the gauntlet. It's going to be a kill for Phoenix. They find Best Jump too. Phoenix, they want this championship, Humanist. They're going to take the ace against Team Solo Mid. What a comeback so far. They still got to end it, though.
Jackson, there's a lot of action here, man. TSM, they really forced that fight. Von C jumping into the gauntlet wall, I'm not sure that's exactly what he wanted to do. Maybe he thought it was going to time out. Maybe a bit of a misplay here. You see, TSM, they feel like they can get in there. With the Aces High missing, Von C jumps right in. Now he's out. He's going to go right back in here, activating his ult right in the gauntlet wall, stunned up. That's a very easy kill. Now Mango's onto the back lines. He doesn't die, and it's just Druid hammering away the whole time. You know, we talked about Best Chuck with how many breaking point stacks at the end of the last fight. It was the opposite here.
Kraken has been unleashed now for Phoenix Armada. Just moments ago, it feels like they were in their base defending what could have been a game-ending push, and they're making the comeback. If they win like this in their final game, they're going to deserve, and they deserve anyway, being immortalized at the TCL Chinese Theater in those 3D prints that they were talking about at the desk.
Such tense moments right now as Phoenix completely turned this game around, and it's TSM that have to make the tough choices in this moment.
They do indeed, but they have turrets to work with. They have time to work with, and a lot of damage to objectives with Petal just crushing through that with the amount of CP those Munions are dishing out. Mango getting every advantage he can. Actually, Gauntlet does land, even though the knockback comes through. Best Chuck gonna be the main target. They really want him right now. But he makes it to the second. 3 people knocked back. Team Solo Mid, they're turning the fight around. Druid finds a stun, but they can't do it. Phoenix needs to run right now. It's so dangerous to go back in, but Mango's trying to buy time for Kraken. He finds some damage on the Bunty. He's stunned at the wall.
Goes down.
Team Solo Mid, they can take this game home. They're going to go 2-3 and keep their hopes alive yet again.
Well, you're hearing the crowd fired up right now. This was a moment that TSM almost could have lost this game when they had the advantage the entire time. They make a very nice defense. Best Chuck manages to just live on a sliver of life, getting to that healing platform. GG, Team Solo Mid. And what a game.
Honestly, that was one of the craziest games I think I have ever seen. Phoenix.
Come on, see.
They take him to the edge.
Is for him as well.
Look at how exasperated they look. This is a series all about stamina. Best of 7. We're already 5 games in. Most series would be over by now, but these teams have got to keep going, and so do we. So let's pass it on back to the analysts and find out how Team Solo Mid managed to make that Petal work so well.
Oh, I was like screaming up here. I was just going for it. TSM, amazing game. And that is Vainglory in a nutshell. That kind of thing can happen on a regular basis. It is insane how close that was. And TSM, I mean, they capitalized on a Phoenix Armada mistake, but they did it so well. That Githian wall set up by FlashX, knocking Druid into a position where, you know, Best Chuck and A got back onto Fountain, you know, was then able to come out of base and still find that kill. But Fuji, you said, why didn't they just go with the Kraken push?
Yeah, like it seemed like they got a little ahead of themselves, right? They wanted to try to push in, get some early kills, try to finish the game. Just let Kraken go to the turret. We talk about this. The Kraken, when it's that close to the base, you just kind of dance around and make the enemy team either do the Kraken or focus on engaging you, but don't let them just easily pick up kills. I mean, you're trying to pick up kills on Best Chuck in the Fountain. He's healing.
Exactly.
You can't kill him there. And also, kind of the follow-up question was Mango sticking around, trying to do damage in a 1v3 scenario, and Gwen was still full health, full energy coming from the backline. If Mango would have left, kept the ace from happening, at least been somewhat of a nuisance, it might have deterred them from actually going to finish the game.
I mean, that was a great game for TSM from the get-go, and they made the attacker's job so difficult, not only with contraption from FlashX, which is exactly what they needed in terms of vision. They also had this Petal, whose monies were applying constant damage, so he wasn't able to use his Kaku to get away, and that was the most important part, because what we were seeing in previous games was that he was just escaping and then coming back in, but this time he couldn't do that.
It's really interesting you point that out, because as they talked about on the caster desk, he runs this build, which is Storm Crown, Aftershock. It's all about getting in, getting out, getting in, getting out, based on cooldown reduction, using those basic attacks. The Petal comes through, you can't use Kaku, you can't go into stealth, you can't regenerate, you can't play that guerrilla warfare type tacker that we see when he jumps in, jumps out, jumps in, jumps out. And I mean, that was insane from Von C there. But I think, more deservedly in some cases, that silent hero from TSM on Gwen again, Best Chuck NA, steps up to the plate. His positioning was great. Sometimes those ults were missing, but he just did insane damage pretty much throughout the entire game.
Well, he's always there when they need him, right? We always say he's the reliable person on TSM. And when you go with, you know, this is it. Like, their backs were against the wall. They see the Taka. They say, you know what, let's try the Petal pick. Let's put it out there. We know Best Chuck's going to be on a carry that we're familiar with using. It's been a comp we've run before, but the Petal, it is the new piece to the equation. Von C's going to be the one to run it, and Best Chuck was able just to follow up every time it mattered.
Now we're calming down, taking a breath a bit. Going into this next draft phase, we know Phoenix Armada adapt incredibly well. They're not going to make the same mistake you think TSM made against Hammers Velocity, trying to force the issue over another game. You know, they've seen that Petal come out, and now the Taka is a risky pick for them to take early on in the rotation. Where, you know, where do they adapt? You just start going back to what they know best, just trying to secure these solid picks.
Well, you know, I don't know. Like, I think, like, when we see this fight right here, this is once again just kind of the example we're talking about, where they're just forcing the issue. Like, the Githian wall towards the base was really brilliant. It really locked them up, and they were unable to leave. I mean, at this point, Mango and Willie just need to try to get out as fast as they can. Mango is completely free right here. He could have left. He could have gotten away. He could have even went and hidden. So if TSM tried to go for the back door, he just goes, wraps back around with Kraken and finishes. So a couple of misplays and decision-making concerns.
That's really interesting, because with Stormcrown, that potentially could have been a real worry for TSM. They might not have been able to end right there and then. We're very shortly getting into the next draft. It currently stands at 3-2 to Phoenix Armada in this best of 7. Remember, that is still just one more game that they need to win to crown themselves as world champions. But TSM putting up a hell of a fight here for North America. They win one more. They level the series, and it goes down to a final game. I mean, what kind of storyline would that be? Insane, insane play coming out from these guys. And we hyped this up a lot. We hyped this up a lot coming here. We said TSM was the only team that could really contest Phoenix Armada on their level, and they are proving it right here, right now.
I mean, if we want to talk about storylines, let's go back to VIPL 2, when Flash was on Alliance and we still had Druid on Invincible Armada. They did the reverse sweep there and then in the finals, and I think it's very possible we're going to be seeing the same thing today. Maybe they're in different teams, but it's the same players going against each other.
Well, they went to their strength, right? We always say TSM is so good at strategizing around draft and preparation for the enemy team, and it seemed like throughout the tournament, they just kind of wanted to just run the same thing, whatever they felt comfortable with. Maybe one little pick here that was different, but then now that we're in the finals back against the wall, we saw a very pivotal change in a draft strategy to counter something, which is a great thing to see. Petal did so much work that game.
Let's, praise aside, let's be honest, Vonsi did make some mistakes that could have potentially cost them the game on the Petal. A couple of trampolines into Arden will spring to mind, but it wasn't enough to give TSM sort of that, or rather Phoenix Armada that comeback potential, because TSM, again, they shored it up, dragged everybody back in, really capitalized on that Phoenix Armada mistake in their base. But that's sometimes how you win games. Sometimes you can do everything that you can and you make that one mistake and suddenly everything's going away and the enemy team gifts you an opportunity. It's about taking those opportunities. Champions take opportunities when they're presented, and TSM certainly took that one.
I agree. I mean, to see them constantly fighting back and forth and strategizing around these things, it's just really nice. Like, it's just nice to see teams innovating mid-series, mid-tournament. I mean, all the way here to the very last games, they're not giving up.
I mean, we have to look at it like this. We know that TSM, they have a great hero pool. We've seen them playing a large number of different heroes over the past few months. But we can't say the same for Phoenix Armada. We've seen them playing the same pocket picks, and TSM are recognizing this. They're denying them more and more away, and it makes it so much more difficult because we don't know if Phoenix Armada are being forced back into a wall.
Absolutely. Just getting a device swapped on stage, that's why we're having a little bit of a delay here. We'll get it sorted very quickly. We want to make sure this is a huge game. It's for $120,000. Sorry, the British and me coming out there. $120,000, the prize pool, the lion's share going to the winner here. We want to make sure the players are absolutely 100% comfortable with the situation. Let's talk a little bit about getting you guys involved, because we want to hear everything on social media. Hashtag Vainglory Worlds. Get involved with your predictions, who you're rooting for. Can TSM do it? Or are they going to get crushed in this next game by Phoenix Armada and they're going to take the world title? That's what we want to hear from you guys at home, all the fans, even in Twitch chat. That's right, even in Twitch chat, we want to hear what's going on with you guys and who you're supporting. It's been a hugely emotional event. It has been ridiculous, the support that Team Solomid have got here in the home crowd, but even Phoenix Armada, their support here is massive as well. We're into the draft phase, ladies and gentlemen. Could this be the final game, or could TSM level it up 3-3? The Lance ban by TSM comes out at the very get-go. That is a new change in strategy once more.
Yeah, another innovation in the draft. I like to see this. TSM's trying to play around with the emotions of Armada, make Armada have to think about their draft scenarios. Are they as analytical as TSM? Have they prepared just as much?
The Koshka ban is very sensible. We've seen Vonsi playing Koshka a lot. It's also very dominant. You want to be denying it.
Here we go. Lyra actually locked in, I think, for the first time in this finals, I believe. I don't think she's made it through the draft phase as of yet. Going to respond with a Kestrel and an Adagio coming out for Phoenix Armada here. How do TSM respond?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you see the Adagio and Kestrel, you immediately start thinking, I need something that can poke. I need something that has a lot of opposition to this lineup. Gwen, I think, is a great answer into this too, because you can flex Gwen to CP. You can get her onto a weapon, whatever it makes sense. We see the Ozo come through.
Ozo coming out here again with these pocket picks. I can see Humanist just throwing his hands up in the air. Ozo locked in for TSM. Maybe they shore this up with a Gwen as well.
They could actually use Arden here.
Oh, Arden, wow.
So TSM has actually done this comp in the past. You start off with Protect Your Contract. You spend a lot of time making sure you shield up Ozo. You put Lyra in the lane. You put the heals underneath him, and he dives, specifically dives any kind of squishy backline, right? So this is exactly what this composition would be prepared for. If I was Phoenix Armada, I would probably be looking specifically for something to shut Ozo down. I don't really like the Celeste pickup. I think that's putting Ozo in an even better position.
You always said, I think you said to me when the world started, we see Ozo maybe into double range. This is triple range. Ozo's going to have a field day potentially, but let's see how it pans out. I know Humanist is excited. I'd probably think AJ's excited too, so let's hand over.
I tell you, Scoundrel, you have no idea just how excited we are. Players have been walking past us and pointing at Humanist and going, yeah! Hey-o! This is Humanist's thing, man. I cannot wait.
It's not just who doesn't love some Ozo?
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. You know something, Humanist? We did some interviews with these teams before Worlds began. And I asked all of the teams coming in from the foreign regions if they felt like North America had an advantage being in their home field with a home crowd.
Yeah.
After seeing the support here from the TSM fans and the chants and how it's fired them up to push this series even further, you gotta wonder if they still believe their answer, which was definitely not. Phoenix Armada, Team Solo Mid, yet again, this could be our last game, but Team Solo Mid, they're making a case for going all the way to 7. Let's kick this one off on the Halcyon 4.
You know, I was doing some hypothetical drafting with Waldemar last night, just on paper. We were back and forth having some dinner, and at both times he drafted Ozo and said he beat me in the draft, and I gotta agree, it's a pretty good hero.
All right, well, we see Ozo going in right now, 2 versus 3. Team Solo mid, are they going too aggressive here? Best Chuck making his way down from lane is going to deter Phoenix just for a little bit from committing to this fight. And there's going to be the disengagement from TSM. We got to talk about that as well. This is a Lyra lane, something you haven't seen a ton of. Obviously, with the Arden in the roam position, it's kind of a requirement. But do you think this composition from TSM can take down Phoenix?
Well, I think it can. The reason that you're not seeing an aggression come out of TSM right now is they're not level 2. Look at that after bounce, back and forth. He's just dancing around. Now, when Ozo hits level 2, it's like a different hero.
Well, he's level 2 now, so let's see what happens. He does find some good damage onto Mango, but Druid is nearby, making that rotation. A glimmer shot up the wall. Could find Flash, but it's not even needed. That's going to be the first kill of the game, going over to Phoenix Armada. They find Vainglory as well. TSM reminds me of last game, though. I mean, they did manage to make it back. Phoenix Armada got to be feeling good after the start of this one, though.
Yeah, Phoenix got to feel really good about that. I think, you know, getting caught out there was a bit of a problem. When Flash goes down, Vainglory, really not much he can do. All he could do at that moment was run away. And it appeared to be a slight miscommunication, but he did get the Vanguard from Flash and chose to then back up, which left Flash in a very dangerous position. We see the Protector contract actually coming out here, and this is something that our analysts talk about. It works really well with him.
It really does. He gains so much more shield because of his heroic perk. Nice by Flash, sticking the lane, knowing that Willie might go up there. All right, let's talk about Vainglory and his Ozo build real quick, because obviously Ozo is something we see sometimes played as Crystal, sometimes Weapon.
Right.
You are a very, very well-known Ozo player in this. What do you... Yeah, you are, at least in our region. What do you think about weapon power here? Is this the right choice from Vainglory?
Well, honestly, if Ozo goes the weapon path, he is the true carry for your team. A lot of times in the high competitive level, I would say going CP Ozo with a weapon lane carry is the more consistent choice, where Ozo can just control a fight and then your lane weapon carry can come through, take objectives, finish off these fights. But he is going to be really scary through the mid game. You're going to see massive power spikes. If they do not get snowballed against, between the 8 to 15 minute mark, this Ozo is going to be actually insane. What they did to him in the last update, he's actually getting weapon ratio. Once he does his acro bounce, he gets a little bit of movement speed, and that's also going to scale with how long that duration lasts. It's pretty good.
All right, well, you heard it here first. Pretty good. Let's see if it manages to work out for TSM. They need it to work. I mean, this is possibly their last game in the world stage. They managed to come back pretty hard so far.
I think also, you know, paired up with this Lyra in the lane, of course you're not going to be getting like that insane healing from the roam Lyra, but you are going to be getting some heal, and she's going to be getting a lot of damage down, which means that Vainglory on this Ozo should be able to get into the backlines, be very disruptive, and with a nicely placed Bright Bulwark, a lot of maneuverability through these fights.
So we've talked about what Team Solo mid, and specifically Vainglory on the Ozo, need to do, but what should Phoenix be doing to deal with that plan? Because when you look at the composition Team Solo mid's running, when you see the build that Vainglory's gone for, you kind of know the direction they're heading in terms of their play.
They have an advantage when it comes to range. I mean, you look at all the heroes that Phoenix have drafted up, they have immense poke coming out. So if they can keep at range, they're going to win these fights. But when the gap is closed, that's where it's really going to start to hurt for them.
Vainglory tries to go in there onto Willie. I'm sure he would have liked the opportunity to maybe acro bounce onto Druid. Did not find it. Willie doing some good damage even on that roam Adagio just because of the buff potential early on in the game. You can see how much damage on the turret Phoenix has already managed to accrue as well. They're pushing very aggressively to start things off.
Well, Lyra also, this is not an early game carry out of the lane. She really comes online later you get there. A lot of damage coming out.
Flash X got to be careful. Vainglory and Best Chuck also getting chunked down. This could be turret, and it is turret for Phoenix Armada. Very fast. Druid wanted more, but TSM backing away safely. I feel like maybe TSM should have backed away sooner, actually, because they're going to lose their backs as well now. If they just conceded the turret, maybe contested the backs, could have been a better situation.
Yeah, I think that's potentially a decent call there. And right now they're just going to have to deal with the fact that they're not going to be getting this. Also, you know, Phoenix getting the region off of this, they're just going to be able to apply more pressure.
Ooh.
If they want to hang around, they're going to be able to get a lot done. That's the Fountain, the Sorrow Blade completed on Frostburn. A lot of power spikes here, very early.
Yeah, we do have alternating current for Best Chuck, which again, it's kind of like a different hero as soon as a carry Lyra gets that, because your basic attacks really start to ramp up on damage because of that heroic perk. But at the same time, with these minion candies, with the Frostburn, with the Sarblet, I can't help but feel like Phoenix is just gearing up for as much push as possible and as much safety while doing it as possible.
You know what it looks like, Jackson? They have an engagement. No, it's not going to happen. Now, Vainglory appears to be going into a build that I've only theory crafted and I've never actually played. He's putting more points into his 3-ring circus right now, which actually gives you a bit of weapon damage when you do proc that. And if he builds into Tyrant's Monocle, that will be able to take advantage of that little bit of extra weapon damage coming out, and he's just going to be critting through that. We'll see if that's what he does decide to complete.
So you have theory crafted about this, so you thought that maybe it would work.
I've thought about it, but it's not a route that I've actually taken. I'm curious to see how it works out.
All right, well, we'll have to find out. Vainglory is starting to move up kind of aggressively. He's not level 6 yet. No Bangarang available. Willie could be the first target. That's going to be the verse. It stunned 3 people! Phoenix Armada! What a team fight. Kestrel with the double kill. That was massive for their early game lead.
Yeah, things kind of falling apart there for Team Solo Mid. It's like every stun in the book just landed on top of Flash and Vainglory as they look to get into the back lines there. It's going to be really tough. Vainglory, he wants to get onto the Celeste in the back line, but he's just not able to get there with those stuns landing. All
right, Will, with another minion candy and another push, Phoenix Armada pick up their second turret of the game only 7 minutes in. They're at 17,000 gold to the 13 of Team Solo Mid. We've got control of the map. So long as they keep laying down vision, we're in the position we've seen quite a few times from teams against Phoenix, where they're just on the back foot to such a high degree.
Yeah, they're on the back foot. But, you know, similarly to how we've seen Phoenix on the back foot, and then they just dial it up, they ramp up that aggression as you get into that mid portion of the game. I think TSM with this competition can do very similar things. It's all about mobility, and it's all about Best Chuck as well. Best Chuck really needs to feel that he can get the damage down in and through these fights before they actually fully commit here. And he's starting to get to that point. As he gets into the Broken Myth, he needs to have his boots up, available to go. Maybe he decides to grab an infusion just in case the fight breaks out. And this is the Tyrant's Monocle coming out right now.
It is indeed. Really on the flip side, he's picked up a Crucible. We do also have some more minion candy. Phoenix want to keep pushing before Vainglory can get strong, before Best Chuck on Lyra can get strong. Bangarang comes out, though. It goes on to Mango. That's the main target. Stun on the Vainglory, however. He goes down. Best Chuck has to bail on the fight with the portal, but it might not be enough. Glimmer shot for the kill. It's an 8-minute ace for Phoenix Armada, and it's going to be an 8-minute Tier 3 turret, too.
Hard to watch for Ozo fan, hard to watch for a TSM fan. Phoenix just dismantling Team Solo Mid here. 8 minutes in, 7-0. They're going to be pushing onto these Vein Crystal turrets right now. Look at that. It's going to be the first coming out. Vainglory's getting bursted down. Where's the backup? Vainglory's into the back lines. He's down. Flash as well.
This is ridiculous. They could just end the game right here. Best Chuck nearly dies on the Sanctuary. Humanist, Phoenix Armada, they're doing it. They want to take the first World Championship by storm in style. Phoenix Armada are your first Vainglory World Champions.
Okay. Team Solo Mid just losing this game in 9 minutes? Is that what the timer is here?
That was roughly the time.
Or Phoenix winning the game in 9 minutes is the way I should be phrasing it. Absolutely phenomenal. They made Celeste look like an early game hero.
That was just, I mean, I've never seen anything like that. I mean, Phoenix, they've got to feel great right now. Phoenix, I know, as an organization, picking up Invincible Armada, right? Quite recently, Invincible Armada was so happy to be picked up by this organization. Phoenix, a big name in the Vainglory community, one of the organizations that's been grassroots.
Right.
And they've managed to make it to first place at the first Vainglory World Championship.
Well, I'm stoked for these guys. Congratulations, Phoenix. Feels good.
And for TSM, look, they really did put up a good fight. Maybe not in that last game, but in the series as a whole. And when you see something like what Phoenix just did, you can't help but sit back in awe. That was just an incredible performance.
It was absolutely beautiful to watch. And multiple games from Phoenix all through this whole weekend. They've showed us things that we haven't seen from any other team. Team Solo Mid putting up an incredible fight. I've talked to some of these other team captains that are here. They thought Phoenix might just roll through this undefeated, but really beautiful from Team Solo Mid.
They were close, but they didn't quite go through undefeated. You got to look at Willie right now. He's a player who just kind of made it onto the roster, comes to Worlds, shows up, becomes an MVP. We've got an interview with your winners on stage with Playoff Beard. Let's hand it on down to him.
All right. I am here with your world champions, Phoenix Armada from Korea! Druid, first to you, taking the first ever World Championship, bringing it to Korea for Phoenix Armada. How does it feel?
역사상 처음으로 이 세계 챔피언십에서 상을 타가지고 한국으로 피닉스 알마다 이름으로 오는 거 기분 어떠세요?
정말 말로 표현할 수 없을 정도로 정말 좋고요. 제가 VAPL 이 시즌 때 준우승을 했잖아요. 그때 기분을 정말 말로 표현할 수 없었거든요. 그 기분을 절대 느끼지 않기 위해서 이번에 정말 최선을 다해서 열심히 했습니다.
As you all know, we took a second place once before at the VGR 1. That was a great feeling. But this feeling today is just indescribable, and I will never forget these feelings.
How did it feel to see TSM, they play the pedal and then they play the Ozo, some surprises that you would have to adapt to later in this series? They played pedal and Ozo. How did you adapt?
오조에서 패를 플레이를 했는데 어떻게 해서 적응을 하셨어요? 오조에서 패를 플레이를 하셨는데 적응을 어떻게 하셨느냐고 나중에 TSM하고 같이 패를 플레이. What does the pedal play mean?
The TSM played
TSM.
pedal.
Yeah. TSM이 패를 플레이를 했는데 어떻게 적응을 하셨습니까? 나중에.
페탈 플레이 했을 때는 사실 엄청 팍팍해가지고 카운터가 나와가지고 많이 당황했었는데 그래서 쉽게 게임이 진 것 같고 5조가 나왔을 때는 셀레스트를 하면은 저희가 받아치기가 되게 좋은 조합이어가지고 무조건 잘 받아치면 이길 수 있다 생각한 것 같아요.
It was really difficult, but once Ozo came in, our team just collaborated so wonderfully, and we just wanted to react to them, and that made it work.
Let's bring your teammate over here for a moment. Get a chance to ask you a question as well. Willie, oh my goodness, he played so well throughout this tournament. I have to ask you, is this the beginning of the Korean takeover of Vainglory eSports?
지금 이 순간부터 벤글로리 e스포츠에 한국 사람들이 한국인이 지금 아주 총 테이크오버를 할 것입니까? 이 순간부터?
그럴 것 같아요. 한국인들이 다 우승할 것 같아요.
I believe so. I think the Koreans are taking it over.
And Druid, come back over here 1 second now. Is there anything you would like to say to all of your Phoenix Armada fans back in Korea?
한국에 있는 피닉스 알마다 팬들에게 하고 싶은 말씀이 뭡니까?
저희가 4강을 시작할 때 한국이 새벽 시간이었거든요. 새벽 4시쯤 되는데 그때부터 자지 않고 정말 열심히 응원해주신 팬 여러분들께 감사하다는 말씀드리고 싶습니다.
When we began the game 4, it was 4 a.m. in Korea. And I know the fans who are watching us and supporting us, and I am really grateful to them. Thank you all.
And many, many fans here in the building as well. But that is enough talk. Phoenix Armada representing Korea. Go claim your World Championship
가주세요.
trophy! Congratulations. It's amazing. It's amazing. Oh, dude. Congratulations. Willie! Oh, yeah. All right, that does it for the first ever Vainglory World Championship. Thank you to this packed house that showed up today for this, and for the thousands of people watching around the world. We have just 2 weeks from now, Vainglory's Milestone 2.0 update coming out, the new mystery chest, the new guild improvements, and so much more. We have gameplay changes, new items, and that is just the beginning for 2017. It is going to be an incredible year for Vainglory, an incredible year for Vainglory eSports. Thank you so much for coming on this wild ride with us. We are all in this together with new ground, setting new ground in mobile gaming. Thank you very much. That does it for our broadcast today. Congratulations to Korea's Phoenix Armada.